Game 2 coming up tonight, and looking forward to it. Brewers with a reopening day today. Can Aaron Rodgers take the money and run? And it's a CHUG Challenge Friday. Welcome to the program, one and all. We thank you for being here. Thanks for paying attention to us over on the Bud Light live stream as well. If you want to watch the program, you can. We got a lot to get to today because you got Game 2 coming up. Stephen A. Smith, by the way, did again another interview with a Fox station in Milwaukee and didn't backpedaled, refused to apologize for what he had to say, but he just basically said he is not a fan of the cold, which we know this time of year there isn't cold and it's a steaming pant load. But that being said, we got Game 2 coming up tonight. Reopening day for the Brewers today as they face the Colorado Rockies. The final 6 games of the month. Can they get to a 17-win June and put themselves on top, solidify themselves on top in the National League Central standings coming out of the month, maybe a couple of games over the Chicago Cubs as far as the National League Central goes. And then it looks like Aaron Rodgers does have a silver bullet in his gun should he choose to fire it. I don't think he does, but it's something that, we can talk about, certainly. And then Greg Gard has now spoken in regards to the whole, situation, if you will, and and the tapes that, or excuse me, and the tape that was released to the public. So we'll kind of talk about that. But Game 2 coming up tonight. It's what we discussed yesterday. Game 2. Your back isn't against the wall and your desperation isn't at its highest until you're facing the elimination game. But this game you have to have. This is about as close to a must-win game as you're going to get. And this tonight is this tonight. Just kind of meandering around this city. I was out last night here in Brookfield, and I was at a corporate gathering. And there's a place, Bar Louie, which is inside the Brookfield Mall area. And they had a bunch of people there last night for an event. And the sense of desperation from fans is very real. A lot of people coming up going, are they going to do it? They got to do it, right? They got to win this game. If they don't win this game, I mean, what is the likelihood they won't make? There's a lot of thought of if they don't win this one, then there's a lot of hope that goes flying out the window, basically. A lot of people that are Bucks fans or that have climbed on. Maybe the people that said, hey, once we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, wake me up. Those people are now kind of saying, oh my God, they got to win this one, right? Oh, what are they going to do to stop Trae Young? I mean, it was just a lot of talk between that and is Aaron Rodgers coming back last night were the two questions asked the most. And really, it's interesting because at this time of year, usually we are all Brewers all the time. And especially with a team that's battling for the top spot in the National League Central, they've got a series with the Rockies and then a big series with the Cubs coming up. So you kind of get the sense that, the Brewers are heading into the All-Star break and they're on top the leaderboard right now when it comes to the National League Central. They're tied with the Cubs. There's a battle going on here right now. And you look at that and think that would normally be the topic, and it's not. I mean, the Brewers have been pushed not to the back burner to the sense that they are off the stove, but they're not anywhere near the front right now. The two big stories are and have been and will continue to be the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously efforting towards a championship, and Aaron Rodgers and whether he will or will not return. And then the revelation today via Pro Football Talk. So we'll get into that. So tonight, Bucks, Hawks, Game 2, Fiserv Forum, sold out, coming up. District fire. It's not pouring. And downtown most likely will be electric. So the question then begs, is tonight in your mind a must-win game? If you had to say my level of anxiety regarding the Bucks and getting themselves to a finals. Tonight's game is a must-win at level what? 10 being the highest level of anxiety, 1 being your I'm going to yawn because I know they're going to get there, or because I really don't care. One of the two. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Want to give the program a call? Feel free to do it. You can hit me up over on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can also find us on the Facebook fan page. Go to Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us there. You can also track us down on YouTube. Find us over on Twitch TV as well. Please subscribe on YouTube. I always ask you to do that if you would, or at least spread the word. People ask me all the time, where can I get the show, or how can I go back and listen to it? YouTube is a great way to do so. Just go to youtube.com, subscribe. Just search Bill Michaels and click on subscribe. And you can always go back and watch or listen to old shows. You can also be alerted when the new ones come up each and every day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So please do that. And then you can always find us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, Odyssey app. Download it on your mobile device and just search for WOZN, The Zone out in Madison. That's our flagship station. We'll pop up there weekdays 10 to 2. And then there's the website, which is thebillmichaels.com, thebillmichaels.com. A great way to pay attention to the program as well. And it's also got all the events coming up. So, on Monday, we're going to be out at the golf course in Ironwood Golf Course in Sussex. I highly recommend you come out to that if you enjoy golf, you enjoy cigars, and you enjoy dinner, and you enjoy sports, or just chatter. We're going to have all of that coming up on Monday night. And then in addition to that, on next Friday, a week from today, the show's going to be live again from Victory Lane out at Road America as we get set to launch NASCAR. The big boys coming to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So we'll be out there next week. 877-867-1670. Your level of anxiety right now in a must-win when it comes to game 2 is what on a scale of 1 to 10? Give it to us. Our buddy Ronald says 9, because if they fall 2 games down, I see the Miami series all over again. John says, I think tonight is a must-win game. Level 8, the odds of coming back from a 2-0 deficit twice, not good. Kinger says, are the Atlanta Hawks this year's Miami Heat? That's a great question. They, look, I went back and I had some time yesterday after I got off the air, and I went back and I rewatched part of that game, and I kind of, scrolled through it a little bit. But yesterday we had an emailer, and I'm not quite sure who it was, that said, hey, look, Trae Young had to have a career night. Everybody else had to play unbelievable minutes for the Hawks. The Bucks shooting was poor. Middleton was extremely poor. They got out-rebounded. You start to look at all the things that happened. Yes, Atlanta created that. Nate McMillan put an emphasis on hustle and scrap. Remember that. That was the comment. So Atlanta did the little things well, but it took Atlanta to play almost a perfect game to beat the Bucks by 3. So tonight, I'm not betting the house, but I'm going to say the Bucks win. And I'm not going to say they win handily, but it's going to be by 5 or more. Chuck says, I'm rather a casual basketball fan, but when the Bucks screw up, I get really annoyed. I'm glad I'm not a diehard fan because I don't know how I would handle it. Scale of 1 to 10, if they lose 2 games at home, it would be at least a 9. Kinger, didn't the Clippers just come back to win their first 2 series after being down 0-2? And you know what? I was thinking it was the Canadians, too. Weren't the Canadians down in that in the postseason in the NHL? And they ended up coming back and winning their series also. And they just knocked out the Golden Knights. So can it be done? Yes. Of course it can be done. Sometimes teams that face desperation don't play well until they face desperation. And maybe the Bucks are that team. I don't know. But I do know that the more odds you stack against you, the more likely it is you won't advance. So in the world of anxiety for me tonight, I'm sitting at about a 7. I'm sitting at about a 7. I think tonight is a big game because what I need to see tonight are three things. One, I need to see Chris Middleton bounce back. He didn't really shoot well down the stretch. There wasn't much to his game. You could see his confidence waning, even though he kept shooting. When you had Drew Holiday the other night in game 7, he was missing shots like crazy, but ended up hitting a couple of big buckets down the stretch, and then obviously bounced back and had a really solid game 1 against the Hawks. So I'm hoping you see a bounce back from Chris Middleton tonight. Number 2, you know what? If the matchups that you're throwing out there aren't working, I want to see Portis. I want to see Forbes. But Portis specifically gave you some quality minutes. If that works, stick with it. I want to see Bud kind of stick with a hot hand. And then last but not least, I want to see the little things. I want to see Giannis and Lopez, and if Portis is in there, Portis. I want to see little things. I want to see boxing out much better. I don't want to see so many second chance points. I don't want to see Capella going around, up, and over anybody. I want to see somebody getting a butt into him. Keeping those guys off the glass, keeping them from doing the little things that put them over the top. Those three things happen, and I think the Bucks win. And I think the Bucks win rather easily, quite frankly. Kinger, my level of anxiety, 7.5. If the Bucks lose, my hopes aren't completely up, but it's kind of expected, especially being a Wisconsin sports fan and how we just can't get over the hump. Yeah, you know what? We've talked about that the expectation level as a sports fan in Wisconsin seems to be, we're going to get there, but right around the corner is gloom and doom. Something is going to happen that will take us down. Well, I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'm really hoping it doesn't happen. I'm hoping that the Bucks alleviate a lot of the anxiety. And put it this way, at least that if they win tonight, you know there's a game 5 coming back to the Fiserv Forum. You know there's another home game. And I for so many reasons, you want that. You want, 1, you might be able to close it out at home. 2, it also adds an economic boost to an otherwise very depressed downtown that hasn't seen a whole lot of events. So I'm in favor of all of that. You know, as much as we just heard the news that Camp Randall, Kohl Center, all that going to be open, full capacity. We're back. We're back. That's a gift. That's something you have to cherish now. Same thing, Lambeau Field. They're going to get that economic boost as fans come back. So I want to see that happen, at least in the short term, for the downtown city of Milwaukee. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. This is from Mark hitting us up via email, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And Mark says, hey, Bill, my anxiety level is sitting at an 8. If the Bucks lose this game, I think it's hopeless, and the hope is gone. I think the Bucks will have been shown the door by a team that is just scrappier than them. I think that they will be outworked, and they will be proven to be the paper champions everybody thought they were. So my level of anxiety is at an 8. There you go. Appreciate it, Mark. Anthony says, if they lose this game, would you change the coaching staff? Lose this game or lose this series? If they lose this game, no, I'm not changing the coaching. You don't get rid of the coaching staff, you know, in the Eastern Conference Finals. If they lose this series to the Atlanta Hawks and they lose in this same fashion, probably. Now, if he's throwing everything in the kitchen sink out there and trying to stick with the hot hands and continually maneuvering people around and trying to play matchups and trying to run philosophically the offense and such, then, you know, I don't think you can just say it's all Bud's fault. And again, I go back to the last game. Yeah, some of the matchups were a little bit head scratching, but for the most part, he wasn't out there missing wide open shots. They were still creating the pick and roll at the top of the arc. Giannis and Drew Holiday seemed to have a real connection offensively. They were able to score points. It's just Middleton was missing a lot of shots, and they missed some big shots down the stretch. They had open looks. I went back and watched that game, and I'm just looking at this going, man, sometimes a team can win just by another team just missing shots. And that's kind of what happened. Defensively speaking, there's got to be an emphasis on getting through the screen. I mean, the screens they were setting for Trae Young at the top of the arc, half the time he didn't even use them. He just fired it up from 30. I mean, he was rocking it from all over the place. And sometimes you just need to get an arm extended, something out there. But what bothered me the most was watching guys stand around. I mean, that's the film. The film that you're going to show your team is not Trae Young hitting shots, is not working through some of the screens. It's after the shot went up. What the hell are you doing? You're standing there looking at it like it's an asteroid plummeting towards the earth, like you're just waiting for it to hit. Go get it. Go be physical. You're at home. You've got the energy. Go play. That's what I want to see coming up tonight. 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. Want to get more of your opinion. What is your level of must win tonight? What is the level of anxiety you're feeling about this game? Game 2. Bucks, Hawks, Fiserv Forum coming up later on tonight. More of the Bill Michaels Show is next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
On anticipatory Friday, you've got a lot of people heading downtown Milwaukee today. An afternoon game for the Brewers. Brewers with their reopening day, if you will, coming up at in the 3 o'clock hour this afternoon. And then you've got Bucks basketball later on tonight as the Bucks take on the Hawks. Game 2 down at the Fiserv Forum as Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. So quite a bit riding on this game coming up this evening. But I'll take this. A lot of excitement downtown. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. So Chris Middleton, after the game the other night, first and foremost, when the shot went up from Pat Connaughton, and we watched it sail with a lot of hope, and it went, and it airballed. Middleton talks about the airball.
That's a great shot. I've seen him knock that down. He's made big shots for us all season long. Just didn't go his way tonight or our way tonight. I mean, it's not just on that shot. I missed a couple ones. It's rebounds, fouls. So it's a great shot by Pat. It's not on him.
It's a great shot. It just didn't go in. And, I mean, I don't know if he was just tight. I don't know if he expected to be hit. I don't know. But it airballed. And Middleton also talks about the potential game-tying shot.
Got a good look off of it. It's on line, just short. A lot of my shots were short tonight, so I got to make that adjustment. Got to be better, like I said, of, seeing the type of misses I'm going or the type of shots I'm getting and, adjusting my game to it.
Also, rebounding. I just talked about this. Rebounding in that particular contest in Game 1, the Bucks just sucked at it. They just didn't concentrate on it. They stood around. They were flat-footed. And as Middleton says, that was one of the things that killed them.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that fourth quarter in the game, they got a couple in one possession, ended up being a big three. The Capella got another one to take the lead, I think. So, I think if we box out, get those rebounds, it's a different game for sure.
Now, he did say that, look, he knows. I mean, as the Bucks go, they need to shoot the ball. He needs to shoot the ball better. And defensively speaking, we talked about this. There's a couple of things that have to happen in this game. Middleton has to shoot the ball better. And the defense on Trae Young, fighting through the screens and being able to just get a hand in somebody's face, it has to be better. And he talks about that.
It's got to be better. I mean, shoot the ball better for sure. I mean, I'm looking at right now, if they were 8 for 32, we were 8 for 36. We make a couple of threes and be ourselves. Say it's a different ball game. It could be same with them. Same thing they're saying also. But I really don't think it was, the offensive side for us. It was more of the defense.
And then when you allow guys to go off for 48 in these games, it just you can't do it. And Middleton addresses that.
Definitely don't want to have somebody go for 48, 50, 40 plus, whatever. It's got to be better containing guys. I think a little bit of playing to their hands a little bit. They're getting comfortable, get to their spots, they get going, but just got to do a better job, like I said, containing those guys. And
then the one thing he says is, look, the Hawks are coming into our house, into the Fiserv Forum. Trae Young, a young guy in the postseason, in the Eastern Conference Finals, he just got too comfortable. We didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. He was in his comfort zone. Try to change things up on him a little bit in that second half, and I think it worked some. But he's a hell of a player. He makes some tough shots. Has some nice passes to his teammates to get them involved, but he's got to do a better job of containing them.
So there you go. That's Chris Middleton after the game the other night. John says Drew Holiday's defensive prowess needs to shine tonight. The Bucks would gladly give up some of his offensive success from Wednesday for a 15 or 20 fewer points out of Trae Young. Not sure if Middleton and Lopez could have played any worse than they did a couple of nights ago. And look, that's just it. It took some epic failures by the Bucks and an incredible night by Trae Young and some of his supporting cast to beat the Bucks. I still think the Bucks are the better team. But if they play like that, they're not going to win. So tonight I want to see the bounce back performance. Tonight I want to see you got embarrassed at home. What many people said was, you beat Brooklyn and then the Nets won. You just punched your ticket to an NBA Finals, and I think you walked out on the floor and threw the basketballs out there and expected to win, and it didn't happen. So tonight what I'm looking for is the bounce back. I am looking for this team to come out with a different veracity tonight. Big time. Big time. You can talk about matchups. You can get into whether or not it's going to be Drew Holiday or PJ Tucker, what they're going to do with Trae Young, how they're going to fight through those screens at the top of the arc, if they're going to continue to allow him to shoot that, or if they're going to say, okay, let's pack it around him and let everybody else beat us. What are you going to do to take it away? Much like when Durant went off. So you said, okay, we'll give Durant his, but not everybody else is going to get theirs, because it's easier to shut everybody else down than it is Kevin Durant, because he's not going to drive 100 on you. So shut everybody else down, give Durant his 30 or 40, and stop the bleeding with everything else, and you're going to keep the game closer. You're going to be able to take the lead because they won't be able to shut down all of your weapons. I think the same thing kind of applies tonight. They do. The Hawks do shoot the ball well, but it's the little things that the Hawks did that beat you. So don't allow them to do the little things. Don't allow them for second chance opportunities. Don't allow them to limit you to one opportunity at the end of the floor. Don't turn the ball over. Little things like that. Value the possession. Value the possession. 877-867-1670. So, Ben, you got a poll question up, right?
Yes. What is on my Twitter at Ben Z Kenny? Tonight's game is a must-win for the Bucks at what level? We go 0-3, 4-6, 7-9, and 10 out of 10. And also, I posed the question: is it a must-win game or a can't lose?
A must-win game or a can't lose. And right now on your poll question, 53% say tonight is a 10-10 win. You got to get the win tonight. 41% 7-9, and then you've got 6% that say 0-3 that aren't concerned. And that's early on. With already 17 people have voted on that. So a lot of people feeling tonight is as much a must-win game as anything. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. You want to do it? Go ahead. Packer Dave says, tonight is a must-win. I don't see this team going down 2-0, going into Atlanta, coming out of there with a win, and then coming home to the Fiserv Forum and all of a sudden putting it away. This team just doesn't have enough heart if they lose tonight. Ready Dave, R-E-D-D-Y Dave says, I see the Bucks getting a big win tonight. Book it. Mark says Giannis has to be better, quit shooting threes, and then they're better with Middleton shooting the mid-range jumper than from beyond the arc if he's not hitting. Well, if he's hitting, he starts hitting at the mid-range jumper, then you allow him to take a step back and start making threes instead of twos. Because if he's hitting and he's feeling it, just let him go. Much like they did with Drew Holiday the other night. Just let him go. If he's there, he's there. You just got to get him back in his rhythm. That's all. You're not going to win a championship without Chris Middleton. It's not like you can just say, just sit him. You can't do that. You got to get him back into his rhythm, and you got to hope that he succeeds. Because you're not, like I said, you're not going to win it without him. So you got to get him going. You can't tell Middleton, hey, if you miss your first couple of shots, don't shoot anymore. You can't do that. You got to keep shooting. The big thing for Middleton is continue to get to work to get the open looks. If you get the open looks, eventually they're going to start falling. He's just that kind of a shooter. But this is what you get out of Chris Middleton. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He's a guy that is not going to go out every night and give you 30. He's going to get one night, he's going to give you 32. The next night, he's going to give you 26. The next night, he's going to give you 14 or 12. And it just fades away. And then the next night, he'll come back out with another 18 or 22. And then the next night, he'll come back with 12. That's Chris Middleton. That's the Middleton we've come to know. 877-867-1670. Agree or disagree? Stay tuned. Got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away statefairtickets.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong. Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. And talking about the Bucks game 2 coming up tonight. What is your level of anxiety? What is your level of anticipation when it comes to needing a win? If the Bucks go down 0-2 in this series, it's not over because the Bucks have proven they can come back, but it is a monumental task to do that. And then you're looking at a series almost assuredly going at least 7. Well, going 7. I shouldn't say at least, but going 7. I can't imagine they're going to then reel off 4 straight. I mean, it can happen, but nevertheless, what is your level of must win tonight? What is your level of must win tonight? Our buddy Steve says, I was a little leery for the game on Wednesday, as you know, but good juju for tonight. I think we'll see a different level and elevation of hustle out of this team and get it back to where it needs to be. I agree that as bad as they played, they still had a chance at the end. I want to see them come out of the gates in the first half and put the hammer down, get them down early, and don't let up. The Bucks win tonight, 116-103. As far as the Brew Crew is concerned, I think they get the payback on the Rockies this weekend. The Rockies are a poor road team, and I think with Corbin Burns going tonight, they get the series started off on a high note, take 2 out of 3, or even sweep this weekend. That's our buddy Stephen Richfield. I hope you're right when it comes to 2 out of 3, because then what I want to see is that would put them at 15 wins for the month. Then if they take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs, that would put them at 17 wins. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if the Cubs take 1 loss along the way, I think we'd be looking at a Brewers team coming out of the month of June, a couple of games up in the standings. That's kind of what I was thinking when they started this, when they were 3 games back, 3 or 4 games back coming into the month. So it's not easy to make up 4, 5, 6 games in a couple of weeks, but the Brewers will have done that in a 4-week span. And I think they can do that. I still think 17 wins gives you a 2-game lead in the division going into the month of July and heading towards the All-Star break. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This one's from Matthew. Says, do pro athletes tend to be less coachable than college athletes, especially when it comes to disciplined playing? I respect that the Bucks had a short turnaround after a tough series with Brooklyn, but lax playing seems to be something we see in every series come playoff time. The answer to your question is they're not less coachable. It's a different approach coachability. You just have to, the best coaches are the ones that, salary be damned, everybody's the same, and there's a level of respect there between the coach and the player. Because once the players look at you and go, whatever, you're done. You're done as a head coach. Doesn't matter what you're in, baseball, basketball, football, whatever, you're done. So regardless of what they're making versus what you're making, salary be damned. You have to keep a level of respect. And if they really believe that you're putting them in the best position to win, then yeah, they're very coachable. They're very coachable. But I think also in those locker rooms, like any locker room, you have to have guys that are willing to take ownership of what they're doing as a team. You have to have guys within that locker room that are willing to step up and say, hey, look, everybody's got to get on the same page. I can't go out and do my job, but you don't do yours, because we're not all going to succeed that way. The only way we succeed is if we all do our job, not try to do too much, and pull the rope in the right direction. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. Kinger says, will Brook Lopez show up tonight? I hope he does. They need him. They need him tonight. I want to see more energy out of Brook Lopez. His stat line in that last contest was, when you got Portis coming off and playing, 5-10 less minutes than Brook Lopez and putting up almost double the numbers. Yeah, Brook Lopez needs to show up, because Portis coming in and doing it shows it can be done. So Lopez needs to do it. 877-867-1670. This portion of the program brought to you by good friends at Quick Trip. They are the convenience store, the official convenience store of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. And don't forget, coming up on Monday, going to be at Ironwood Golf Course. There's still tickets available for the event. And all you got to do is go to tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com. That's tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com. The event coming up on Monday, we got some golf. If you want to play golf, great. If you don't, you can come to just the dinner. But regardless, we're going to have a good time, have a few cigars, going to enjoy some good food. A lot of good things going on at Ironwood Golf Course, and it's going to be a blast. It's a beautiful setting, too. If you've never been there, you sit in the barn in the evening, and you can overlook the golf course. If it's a clear night, you can see for 20 miles. So it's going to be a really nice event and a really nice setting coming up on Monday, and I hope you're there. I really do. Go to tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com. That's tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com. Marlon says, I think the Bucks are going to get a win and win big. Look for a little bit of mean mugging, and then he's got in parentheses, I know you hate that, but look for this team to come out with attitude tonight. It's not that I hate mean mugging. It's that there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place. I'd rather see it when you're in a surge, when you're down the stretch, when you're putting a finish on a team. Don't give it to me when you're trying to fight back. Just keep doing your thing. It's kind of like, do you celebrate a sack as a defensive end when your team is down 42-7? And you get in on, you take out a quarterback. Now, you don't celebrate that. You're not winning. You're playing bad. Don't give it to me when you're playing bad either. 877-867-1670. You got something coming up regarding the game tonight, or maybe you're heading, because this one's from Jared, who says, I'm heading down to the Brewers game, but we're going down to the Deer District afterwards, going to make it an entire night. Are you going to any of the bars downtown? I had said, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Stenny's, and I'm going to watch the game over there. I have not done that throughout the series so far, but I think that's what I'm doing tonight. So, but I'll tell you this, like you had mentioned, probably going to be a lot of people downtown, leaving the Brewers game and then heading over to the Deer District, unless you have tickets to both, but then heading over to the Deer District and watching the game there tonight, or just heading, because you're going to get people coming back, because Stenny's run shuttles to both the Brewers games and the Bucks games, as many of those sports bars downtown do. So my assumption is a lot of the bars downtown can be packed tonight, because you're going to get people returning from the Brewers game that don't have tickets to the Bucks game, but they're going to stay in the bars and such downtown tonight to watch the Bucks game. So I think downtown's going to be hopping. I really do. I think downtown's going to be a fun place tonight. 877-867-1670. Our buddy Paul, he writes, Bucks need this one tonight. I don't see them coming back from an 0-2 deficit if they lose to the Hawks. Hawks have a lot of good shooters, and they're feeling it right now. Bucks need to stymie them big time. Ken says, Bucks tonight by 10. Book it. Misty says, I hope my Bucks get a win. Please don't let us down. We're depending on you for our morale, because if Aaron Rodgers doesn't return, this is all we have to look forward to. It's not, I get what you're saying, Misty. It's not all, because I still think the Brewers are a good baseball team, and I think I'm excited about Badger football. I still am excited about Packer football. It's just without Aaron Rodgers, we know we're not heading off to a Super Bowl. You know that's not going to happen. So I'm excited, but I'm not going to say that there is not the possibility of a championship in our near future. Let's go to Court. Court, welcome to the program, the Bill Michaels Show. What's going on, man?
Hey, Bill, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. What's up?
Hey, talk about the Bucks a little bit. The thing that got me concerned a little bit the last game, obviously Trae Young going off. I don't want this to sound like it's being cheap, but a hard foul needs to be put on this guy. He's got to be let known that the defense is still there somehow. Someone's going to have to knock him around a little bit, I guess, for a lack of a better term. And also, I don't know why Coach Bud refuses to put Lopez down in the block. I'm just not quite sure on that, because I think the thing that would be great to do is make Clint Capella work on both ends. He's the guy that kind of, I think, controls things. He's had his free reign at the rim. He had a lot of offensive rebounds, a lot of putbacks, and he's just, they've got no answer for him along with Trae Young. I think that I would like to see Lopez down on the block and make Capella work on defense a little bit and try to tire him out a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to see that too.
Yeah.
I appreciate the phone call. Now I know that some of you said, well, the Bucks came out for that hard-fought series. So did Atlanta. Atlanta had a hard-fought series against Philadelphia. So it's not like Atlanta sat there and rested for a week waiting for the Bucks, and they came out with fresh legs. I mean, they fought too. I agree with you, though. Make Capella work for it. They allowed him with too many free passes to the basket. So I want to see Brook Lopez or whomever at least put a body on Capella. Keep him on the outside, because there was just either too many tips back out for second chance opportunities or boards that he pulled down and got second chance points. So I want to see them keep Capella off the boards just as much as you do. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. How's your day? It's a good Friday. A lot of sports coming up. You've got with the day night, Bucks looking to even the series up at a game apiece, and then send it down to Atlanta where they get hopefully a chance to steal one. and then bring it back in a positive light to the Fiserv Forum. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Do it. Again, 877-867-1670. This one is from Marcy. Marcy says, going to be down in the Deer District tonight. No tickets, but just going to be hanging out. Do you know if they allow umbrellas? I have no idea. I mean, it's outside. Why wouldn't they? I don't think they check you for an umbrella before you walk through the entrance to the Deer District. So, but Marcy, have at it. Take one of those little pop-up ones. Put it in your back pocket. You know, who cares? It's just, that's the least. If I'm going to the Deer District tonight, I think the rain is the least of my worries. I know that I can go into the Mecca Sports Bar and Grill or the Punch Bowl Social or whatever. I mean, you know, there's plenty of bars and restaurants downtown you could zip into. I think that's the least of my worries. This is from Calvin. Says, when two players have 10 or more rebounds in a game, that always bugs me because if I remember correctly, didn't John Collins had like 12 rebounds along with Capella? Good question. I can't remember what the total board number was. I'll have to look it up.
Collins had 15. Capella had 19.
Yeah. I knew Capella had 19. I couldn't remember how many Collins had. But yeah, they crashed the boards hard. Bogdanovich didn't do too much in that contest. He played pretty solid defense, but only had 4 points, only had 3 boards. Really not much to write home about, but still defensively speaking, Bogdanovich had a hand in the air and had a hand in the face of Chris Middleton quite often. Middleton didn't obviously shoot the ball very well, so Bogdanovich credited with a lot of that. Still came out on the positive side when it comes to the plus-minus ratio. But P.J. Tucker, a -2, only 4 points, 7 boards, a couple of assists to show for it, but could not be neither he nor Drew Holiday. Because in the plus-minus, when you put in the defensive scores, Drew Holiday dropped 33 points in that game and still came out at -3. Had 10 assists, 33 points, 10 assists, and 4 boards. A couple of steals, and still came out a -3 in the plus-minus column. Giannis was only a +4. They didn't do the little things. Didn't do the little things. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, hit us up. This one's from Ann. This is from Ann. Annie says, hey, Bill, love the show. They listen to Viroqua on YouTube. They tape delay your show to the afternoon. Ernie talks about you all the time. When are you coming back? I got the Bucks winning tonight by 7. Annie, I'm going to be back in the area. God, we were talking about coming up maybe in July. There's so many limited dates right now because the schedule's so crazy. And we really kind of are heading into a really busy season. So it's either going to be July or August, but I'm going to get back up there. I want to come back up. I've never been there in the summertime, really. I was there one time where I got a chance to play a little bit of golf, but usually I'm there in December, which I love because that means all the craft shops are open and such, and over at Nelson's Agri Center and such, because it's really cool, like shopping for Christmas gifts, which I like. But yeah, I'd love to come up in the summertime. Love to be there in good and warm weather, without a doubt. Maybe bring the motorcycle and tow the motorcycle around and ride it through there. Coon Valley and everything down through that area is beautiful. 877-867-1670. This one, who do we got here? This is Mark. No, this is not. I already read Mark. Who's this? This is Joe. Joe says, hey, Bill, Bucks tonight by 10. Have to have a big night from Giannis, but inside, not outside. Giannis needs to stop shooting the threes. Middleton needs to get hot, and Bud needs to make the proper adjustments defensively. If Trae Young is getting through the screens with wide open looks, why can't they just fight through the screen? What is Bud teaching them? That's something we talked about. Look, if you're not going to fight through the screen, then you have to understand communication-wise what the switch off is. Because if your switch off is a mismatch, then you need to have guys fight through the screens. But if you do the proper, switch off, we'll say. There's communication. What happened was the other night, it looked like Trae Young, half the time he didn't even really use the screen. He just kind of stepped behind it and took the shot. But when he did switch up, there was 2 or 3 times they were looking at each other like they were confused as to who they had. Now, that goes back to Bud. That goes back to coaching, and or guys understanding what it is you're asking them to do, and that's still coaching. So tonight, I want to see clean moves either through the screen or clean switches coming out of the screens, because that's what they do. But I mean, the Bucks do it all the time too. Giannis usually steps towards the top of the arc. They'll get it to Middleton. They'll get it to Drew Holiday or whomever. Giannis will, play the pick and roll, and that's kind of what their offense plays off of. Same thing as the other night. Trae Young, few picks at the top of the arc. Screened off of that. If he saw a lane to dribble drive, if he had a hand in his face, he would drive, penetrate, and then kick it back out. Lobs. Capella had a couple of them. So tonight you want to see just more. You want to see more movement and lateral movement in the feet and be able to fight through the screens. That's it. It's just a little more oomph. It's not like it has to be this crazy game where they're sprinting side to side like the old lateral drills were. You don't need that. You just need more something, 877-867-1670. And Kinger wants to know, how bad are they missing Dante DiVincenzo? They're missing his shot because he could get hot and the ability to disperse the basketball. But I think when he just started to shoot the ball and get into a rhythm when he went down with the injury. So they're missing him. He's not this key cog. It's not like losing Kyrie. But they do miss him because he did alleviate some of the shooting prowess. He was getting better down the stretch. 877-867-1670. We'll talk some more Bucks basketball. But also, is there a silver bullet in the arsenal of one Aaron Rodgers? We'll tell you what it is when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is coming up.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Wisconsin has added to its wide receiver room with its latest commitment in the class of 2022. That would be three-star recruit Tommy McIntosh from Michigan. The 6'5", 205-pounder is the number 21 player in the state of Michigan and the 111th best wide receiver in the country. He is now the sixth commitment in Wisconsin's 2022 class, including 5 since Saturday. Finally, Wisconsin announced Wednesday afternoon that Camp Randall and all home venues will be open to full fan capacity. Yes, 100%. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome one, welcome all. Glad you're back. Bill Michaels Show, hour number 2, but for many of you, hour number 1, as we now go full network, and we're glad you're here. Thanks for listening to us in La Crosse, WKTY, 96.7 FM, 580 AM. Our friends in Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1, WAYY. Saying hi to our gang who are listening in Viroqua, WVRQ, although I think they tape delay the show. It doesn't air for a little while yet. But there's Wausau, our friends in Marshfield. So got a good audience, and a lot of people chiming in today regarding the Bucks. And there is the angst out there about Giannis and his free throw prowess. His free throw prowess in the 10 seconds. Apparently, the Atlanta Hawks are questioning. And there was a little crawl across the screen last night, if you saw it, during the Phoenix game. Phoenix and the Clippers. I was watching that last night, and there was a crawl that came across that said the NBA is now looking into Giannis's free throws and how much time it's taking for him to shoot a free throw, which I hope it's ridiculous. It just is. It's ridiculous, this free throw shooting routine, whatever it is he goes through. But they are now requesting that an official clock be put on him because enough's enough. That's what they're stating. And as much as he's the hometown guy, I am all for it because it's ridiculous. It really is. I know that's they're going to be watching that tonight. We'll see if they call him for it. So you're going to see a different set of scrutiny, I guess, on Giannis as he goes to the line. When it comes to betting on the game tonight, Trae Young's point props for game 1 closed at 28.5 before the NBA's newest sensation then torched the Bucks for 48. We'll see for game 2. The bookmakers have adjusted Young's point prop to 30.5 in anticipation of the over money likely to flow in from the betting public. So if you're looking for some of the prop bets tonight, it's 30.5 now for Trae Young. That's what they're saying he's going to score. For the Bucks to win, they need to get a home performance from Chris Middleton. And prior to game 1, he was averaging 27.2 points per game on 53% shooting and 50% from the three-point mark at home. And 20 points per game and 37% shooting and 29% on three-pointers on the road. But in game 1 at home, Middleton turned in that road performance. And he got 15 points, 6 for 23, including 0 for 9 beyond the arc. So you look for him to bounce back in a major way tonight, in a must-win game by many accounts. You also look for the Bucks to get a lot more physical defensively tonight, I think. They're going to play a lot more of the switching defense. That's what they ended the game with, as opposed to the drop coverage that they played and kind of let Young go off most of that game. So, but the Hawks are still somewhat of a bad matchup for the Bucks. Budenholzer's going to have to make some changes in order to win tonight. The focus needs to be on slowing down Young, because you're not going to stop him. Just slow him down a little bit, and be able to anticipate that Giannis is going to concentrate on Young defensively, especially in the paint. But what are they going to do on the outside? And Bogdanovich has been a shell of himself as of late, and he's still got that knee injury that he's been dealing with, but you don't expect much production from him. So the Bucks are going to get more offensive firepower. I can see a guy like, say, Bryn Forbes getting some more playing time, Bobby Portis getting more playing time. So I'm looking for a few things differently tonight. 877-867-1670. The Bucks are a big favorite. I expect them to get a win tonight. So I'm feeling good about game 2. I'm not betting the house like I did the other day. I don't usually bet a chunk of money like that, and I did, and I lost, and now I'm feeling it. I could go back in tonight and say, and be one of the itchy palm bettors that say, you know what, I just feel that they're going to bounce back. I feel it. I'll just take the win overall and just try to double my money and get it back. But I don't know if I could do that again, man. I take another one of those heartbreaking losses. It's like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. I might put a little bit down, but I don't think I'm going to put the way I did the other night. They disappointed me big time. Big time. This is from Maxie Steve. Maxie Steve says, Bucks tonight, book it. Don't feel bad about it, unit. Get your money. Get your money. Y-O money. I'm not that guy. I'll throw some down. I'm not going to throw a bunch down. Just can't do it. Ultimately, I still think that the Bucks are just going to be too much for the Hawks and could win this by a couple of games easy. The Bucks have size at every position. The Hawks don't have an answer for Giannis in the paint. The Bucks still, I think they get the win tonight. I still think they're going to go on the road and get a win. I think they're going to have that home court advantage. I look for Middleton to bounce back. So I got the Bucks winning. I know the spread is what, a couple, 2.5, 3, something like that. Still in favor of the Bucks, but I still think the Bucks are going to win the series. But tonight's a pivotal game. Tonight's big time pivotal game, no doubt. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. John Schumann says the last 2-minute report from the game the other night had a couple of mistakes. Giannis should have been called for a 10-second violation on his first free throw with 5.3 seconds left. Giannis should have been called for a 10-second violation on his second free throw with 5.3 seconds left in that ball game. And he again, I think if you're going to call him for it, you call it early in the game. You don't wait until it's a pivotal moment in the game and allow that call to dictate the end of a ball game. You don't do that. But if I'm an official, I walk up to Giannis and I say, hey, look, the clock's on you tonight. You have 10 seconds. If you go beyond that, we're going to whistle you. You let them know. You let them know. Let's go to Bruce. Bruce, welcome to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, Phil?
I'm doing good.
So, I have a question. I was on Facebook over the weekend. I took a lot of heat for it, but let's say the Bucks lose tonight. Let's say the discussion they lose tonight. I'm not trying to jinx them or nothing. Do you think that Budenholzer gets fired at the end of the season if they don't fix this now? Do you still think that he's going to be gone at the end of the season, given what happened with game 1?
If they lose this series, I would say, yeah. I would say probably Coach Budenholzer's gone. Just for the fact that so many people believe that the Bucks are a better team than what Atlanta is. So if you lose to a team that everybody expects you to beat, then yeah, you most likely Budenholzer's gone.
Okay, because I was sitting there, I'm watching this game. I was watching the game, Wednesday, and I was like, I don't know, man. For some reason, they just don't have it in game 1. I mean, what are they waiting for? Are they waiting for like a wake-up call or something?
Right. That's a great question. I don't know, because it just seemed like they played with a lack of energy and flat-footed.
Look, the thing is, they get a lead. It's like the last series. They get a lead, they blow it, and then you're down. You're up 4. How do you lose the game? You're up 4, and I don't know, man.
They had some ill-advised shots. They had some ill-advised shots. They had some bad shooting, and then they just didn't get a hand in Trae Young's face, who just made him pay for it. And then Capella with what was it? I don't know how many seconds remaining in the ball game. Capella came in and stole an offensive board and a putback, and kind of put a dagger in you at that point. And how you let him get around you, I have no idea. At that point, you should be locking down the basket, and they just didn't do that. Too many mistakes down the stretch by the Bucks.
Look, if they lose this game, I want Budenholzer gone. I don't care, even if you get to the finals. This man cannot make adjustments, man. He's scared to get up in, Trae's face. Okay, who would you put on Trae Young for the whole game? Who would you So when Trae takes a break, do you take the other person out at the same time when Trae takes a break, and then you put him back in when Trae comes back out?
They manipulated Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker on Trae Young, and it seemed like it just didn't work, especially when they were running the ball screen at the top of the arc. So, I don't know if I just put Giannis in his way, so he's got to shoot over Giannis, or if I just go back to Drew Holiday and say, Drew, go get him. I don't know.
But okay, look, if Steven Johnson was still, wasn't injured, I'm sure they would put Steven CHUG on him because he's much quicker than probably Drew Holiday. Drew looks kind of slow a little bit.
Drew looks, in comparison to Trae Young, yeah. I mean, Trae Young's got such a quick initial step. That's where he's so good, which is why maybe you put a longer guy with longer strides like Giannis out on the top of the key on him. But then again, you're pulling one of your big bodies away from board. And you were giving up second chance points. So do you want Giannis out at the top of the key or out at the top of the arc and not being able to collect the board?
But then what do you do with Brook Lopez then if he doesn't?
Right, he can't be drifting. Brook Lopez cannot be drifting. He's got to be in Capella's jock. Or you go big and you play Portis as well.
I'd rather go with. You know what? From what I heard that Portis was doing a lot better than what Brook Lopez was doing.
Yep, he was. You're 100% correct. You just look at his stat line alone for the minutes he played.
I rather. Okay, so can you afford to sit Brook and bring him off the bench and just switch it around?
I think you stick with what got you there, but I think what you need to do, Budenholzer, if you start to recognize that Trae Young is going off again and you're kind of a wash, rinse, repeat, then you need to make an adjustment quicker, and you need to start playing differently, the way the switch offs were at the end of the ball game, and you got to start playing because look, the Hawks are kind of a bad matchup for the Bucks because they're going to have to make the same changes in order to win tonight. The focus needs to be on slowing down Trae Young because you can't stop him. And with all those floaters that he's had, maybe it's Giannis who's going to have to concentrate on Young specifically.
But then you also, what do you do for shooting? I mean, they went what? You said what? 0 for 9 for 3-pointers.
Middleton was bad. Yeah, I mean, you just got to hope that with the open looks that they get, that they hit them tonight as opposed to what they did the other night. I don't know what else you could do offensively because it wasn't like they were everything was contested or they were throwing the ball away. They had some turnovers and some stupid plays, but for the most part, they were just missing shots. And the part of the thing that drives me nuts is nobody crashes the boards on the offensive side. It's like the shot goes up and everybody starts running down to the opposite end. It drives me crazy. And you see this team just kind of give up the opportunity for second chance points. And that's another area that I think if I would have to accentuate, if I'm Bud, I would say you talk about the hustle and the scrap the way Nate McMillan did. I'm looking for hustle and scrap tonight.
So then, okay, so if the Bucks don't crash the boards tonight and if Budenholzer doesn't make an adjustment, I got a funny feeling that they're just going to be like, you know what, this isn't working. He had 3 years of this. I don't know, man.
If they lose to the Hawks, I can almost guarantee the Budenholzer won't be back. You know?
I hope so. I hope you're right. I just don't want it back, man. I mean, I can't do this anymore. It's just like, man.
Well, if they lose the series, yeah, I don't think he's coming back. But if they win the series and he puts him in the finals, Bruce, appreciate the phone call. If he puts him in the finals, then you would almost have to bring him back. It's the first time you've been in the finals since when? 71? When's the last time they went to the NBA Finals? They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals. 72, 73, something like that. I mean, it's been forever since they've been to an NBA Finals. Do you then
74.
74. I knew they went to one after they won the championship. Just couldn't remember what year. So wouldn't you then unless they get just blown out and embarrassed, but wouldn't you then keep Budenholzer if they go to the finals? The first coach to take them to the finals? Do they get to the finals in spite of Budenholzer or with Budenholzer's help? And if they lose in the finals, did they lose because of Budenholzer or just because they just got beat? And that would be what you make a determination on. But there's not many coaches that get fired after taking a team to the finals. 877-867-1670. Hang in there. We got a lot more to get to. Does Aaron Rodgers take the money and run? Is that a real possibility? We'll tell you what we're talking about. Coming up next on the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's finally summer, Gina Della from Pella. You know what that means.
For sure, Mark Shimura. Can you believe it? In just a few months, chilly winds will be sneaking through leaky windows and doors.
But Gina, it's summer. Time for cookouts, golfing, and heading to the beach.
Exactly my point, Chewy. Sure, you and your friends are getting outside, enjoying warm sunshine and fresh air. But if you want to host game day Packers parties in comfort this fall, you've got to call Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin now.
Gina, I already have energy-efficient Pella windows, but you seem to be on a roll, so...
Depending on the style and materials you choose, you could upgrade your home with Pella Windows in as little as 8 weeks.
Bring it home, Gina.
And right now, you can choose 40% off installation or 6-year no-interest financing.
That's into 2027.
You're not kidding. Just order by June 30th. Set your free consultation now at PellaWI.com/radio or 855-PellaWI.
Service restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
How are we looking? Brewers today, Colton Wong, Urias, Yelich, Garcia, Narvaez, Adames, Jackie Bradley Jr., Keston Hiura at first, and Corbin Burns on the hill. That's your lineup today for the Crew as they get ready to have reopening day today. Many of you heading out to the ballpark. Full capacity. Today is the 25th. Epic Sports Day in Milwaukee. The reopening of Miller Park, or I should say American Family Field, getting back to 100% capacity. Bucks hosting Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals at the Fiserv Forum. Everybody's welcome. Good day today. Good day today. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up. By the way, this portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at New Male Medical. And if you are a guy that's had ED issues, you need to give them a call. 414-455-4451. It's that simple. They have a 98% success rate, almost guaranteeing that they can help you. And they have 2 locations, one in Milwaukee, one in Green Bay. So anywhere in the state, you can head over. Then, if you're looking for more energy, better mental clarity, you don't have that brain fog going on. You know what I'm talking about? We just kind of feel fuzzy. They can help you out with that. Could be low T. It takes you maybe 10, 15 minutes tops to get your numbers checked. And then they will let you know what your numbers are. And maybe if there's a plan needed, they can put it in place for you and you're good to go. It's that simple. However, let's just say you woke up today and you went, man, looked in the mirror and you said, I need to lose some weight. I got that gut. That gut just needs to go. I need to get back into shape. And you want to jump. You got to do something. Okay, you got to commit to something to commit, you know? That's a great way to do it. Call New Male Medical, 414-455-4451. You're not going to go there. You're not going to commit to the program and then ruin it, right? It just gives you that confidence to jumpstart the program. 414-455-4451. Call them anywhere. 414-455-4451. That's 414-455-4451. That's New Male Medical Center. Zabe says, hey, Bill, double down on the Bucks tonight. Get your house back. You can burn the refrigerator box. Some of you are talking me into it. It's my money. But I might add a little bit extra tonight. I don't know if I'm going to go back to the same level that I did the other night, but I'll say this. And because Brew Crew Steve said, how much did you lay down? It was 5 figures. It was 5 figures. We'll leave it at that. I don't know if I can go back to 5 figures. I don't know if I can. That's just way out of the norm for me. Way out of the norm for me. So, I don't know. After further review, it looks like Aaron Rodgers does indeed have an opt-out, as they call it, silver bullet. If he decides by next Friday not to play, he can avoid $20.3 million of forfeitures and fines that would apply if he simply does not show up to training camp. In case you did not know. It seems too easy, but the letter agreement between the NFL and the NFLPA from Tuesday of this week does indeed grant broad powers to all players to opt out of this season, regardless of whether they opted out of 2020 or whether they've been diagnosed with a higher risk condition. Although such players would be entitled to no stipend for 2021. Any player who executed his most recent contract before October 1st, 2020 can indeed opt out voluntarily, no questions asked, as to the motivation or qualification or possible ulterior motive. In other words, he played in 2020, but if he decides he wants to opt out of 2021 due to what was the circumstance of the pandemic, they give you the option, no questions asked. He can, if he decides to opt out by next Friday, pull the plug on this season. It would be a permanent and irrevocable decision, but he could do it. The benefit to doing so comes from the fact that he would not forfeit $11.5 million in unearned signing bonus. He presumably would still receive the payments on the $6.8 million roster bonus that he earned back in March. And that is due to be paid out on a weekly basis. Plus, that's $18.3 million that he gets to keep by opting out. If he doesn't opt out or holds out, he loses that and then would be fined roughly $2 million on top of that for skipping training camp. So in other words, if he opts out by next Friday, he gets $18.3 million of free money. If he opts out after the fact and just doesn't show up to training camp, he's subject to giving back $20 million. The problem with opting out is that it requires a fairly quick decision because he's got to make that decision by next Friday. But if he's truly thinking about staying away for the entire season, there's $20.3 million sitting on the table right now for making that final decision right now. You see what I'm saying? Didn't know that. $20.3 million is a lot of rounds of golf at the Green Bay Country Club. That's a lot of cocktails. That's a lot of food. He can bring some friends along. He can hang out there full time. He can have Judge Smales walk past him and go, "Don't you have homes?" But the Packers still then would have to pay him a portion of that money. There you go. Just thought I'd throw it out there. So if you don't hear any news about Aaron Rodgers opting out prior to next Friday, then I think you start to raise your eyebrow and start to look at training camp and say, okay, does he just come strolling back in? Does he just show up like nothing happened and collect his $30 million? Does he wait until the regular season to show back up? A lot of what ifs there. I'm starting to think, because he's not saying anything, I'm starting to think that the Emmanuel Acho is looking more and more correct. That Rodgers just didn't want to go to minicamp, didn't want to go to the mandatory offseason workouts, and wanted his offseason because they're adding an extra game to himself. Hang out. And he allowed all the angst and all the things to be said about the Packers, about the front office, about all of that to seem true. And as one former player put it, he's committing murder against the front office figuratively without getting any blood on his hands because he's not saying anything. But we all know what's going on, which was an incredibly poignant statement. 877-867-1670. If you want to chime in, you can. But it was on Pro Football Talk earlier today. So Aaron Rodgers could, in essence, opt out and still get some cash out of it. He could end up with $18.5 million as opposed to not showing up and having to pay back $20 million. That's a $38 million swing, my friends, by the time it's all said and done. a $38 million swing. That's some cash, right? That's some serious cash. Hey, don't forget our friends over at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, your one-stop shop for everything. I was in there yesterday for everything that's Harley. Kristen's taking lessons over there. So she's going through the rider's course right now. Stopped in there yesterday, and I know it's kind of looking like a crappy weekend, and I got a ride coming up this weekend. So I'm not one to ride in the rain. I hate it. But I know I'm going to Sturgis this year. I know I got a ride coming up this weekend, and it's supposed to be spotty showers. So I went and bought rain gear. And they've got they got Harley rain gear, they got off-brand rain gear, they got all kinds of stuff over there. But whether it's bikes, motor clothes, new, used, helmets, leathers, whatever, not to mention a lot of good parties. It's Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Go to wishd.com. That's wishd.com. By the way, one of the girls that's in the riders class over there comes from Madison. And when I asked her, I said, why do you come from Madison? Because where she was going to take the class, it was $500. At Milwaukee Harley, it's like $280 or $250 or something like that. She said it's like it saved her so much money. So she drives from the east side of Madison to go to Wisconsin Harley. She said it's not a bad trip. 40, 45 minutes tops, depending on traffic. So if you're in Madison, if you're in Elkhart Lake, if you're in Lake Geneva, if you're in Milwaukee, if you're on anywhere in between or you're looking for the bike of your dreams, they may have it. Check out wishd.com. That is WIS, WISHD.com, wishd.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We continue on. Glad you're with us. Bucks big one coming up tonight. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals coming up. So here's a thought, and I had to dig a little bit deeper into this. And I was talking about would you put Drew Holiday on Trae Young? And the natural instinct, and I even went with it and said, yeah, you probably would. And then I started thinking, I thought, well, wait a minute. I was reading something about picks, and sure enough, Nate McMillan took over as the interim head coach on March 2nd. The Hawks have generated the best record in the Eastern Conference, 27-11. The Bucks were 4th in that same stint at 25-13. Okay? So the Hawks have a puncher's chance against the Bucks. We know that. But the Hawks run more on-ball screens than anyone. Trae Young has utilized more on-ball screens, 3,909 this season than any other player in the NBA. And the Bucks are not strong at defending on-ball screens. Drew Holiday, the defender, has allowed 1.03 points per chance as the ball handler defender against the pick. That ranks him 265th among 310 total players to defend at least 100 picks this season. So that is not his strong suit. So maybe you do go with Giannis or PJ Tucker up top. Maybe you do stick with that instead. 877-867-1670. Because maybe that's the reason that Bud was so quick to pull Holiday off of him, because defending off of the pick is not Drew Holiday's forte, or at least statistically it'll tell you that it's not. Make sense? I didn't know that. I just caught that as a statistic, and I was kind of doing a little bit deeper reading, I guess. And I saw that, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got to go back and check that out. So Drew Holiday, while he is a solid defender, it's more in one-on-one ball movement than it is actually handling the ball defender coming out of a pick, allowing 1.003 points per chance. Just a little defensive note for you. There you go. 877-867-1670. This one's from Paul. Paul says, hey, Bill, did you see all the sniping back and forth between KD and Scotty? Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. And it's I don't know. It's kind of stupid, to be honest with you. Kevin Durant, for a guy that acts like nothing bothers him, he's the most petty guy there is. Basically, that Scottie Pippen said that Kevin Durant, hell of a player, but he did not involve his teammates enough in the series against the Bucks. And he said, look, you know, Kevin Durant is not LeBron James. LeBron James involves his teammates. He tries to elevate everybody. And KD, as great as his offense was, it turned out to be his worst enemy because he didn't know how to play team basketball. He kept trying to go punch for punch. So Kevin Durant then says, didn't the great Scottie Pippen refuse to go into a game for a last-second shot because he was in his feelings? His coach drew up a play for a better shooter. You know, it gets petty from there, and everybody's talking about it, but it's kind of like, you know, I understand what Scottie Pippen's saying. I will say, look, if you're going punch for punch, who cares? Who cares who's dropping a 2 or dropping a 3? As long as you're going punch for punch, I don't care. Because it turned out to be an amazing performance. But you also, in going punch for punch, you become the puncher, therefore you can be punched out. Come the end of the game, when you're looking for a big bucket, you may not have your legs or arms under you because you've been trying to kind of win the game all by yourself. So I understand what Scottie Pippen is saying, but Kevin Durant is like just he's a petty dude, man. He just is. He's got that mental Rolodex, kind of like Aaron Rodgers, where now Rodgers doesn't come out and say stuff. He's very subtle in what he'll say. He'll take his shots, but he'll do it in a way that makes you kind of go, did he just take a shot at me? I think he did. And everybody kind of pointing the finger at you and laughing, and then you realize, yeah, he did. You know? So, but it's out there. I get it. Ronald says Bleacher Report reports that he would get $18.5 million if he opted out. Not sure, which it's true. It would make him untradeable this year because he could not opt back in, which is also true. If he is going to opt out, he doesn't want to be here and might as well bite the bullet, Goody, and just trade him right now. There you go. Kinger says, what's your burner account name? I don't have a burner account. Never had one. Everybody's got burner accounts, I guess. I've never had one. I've never felt the need to have one. You know what do you use a burner account for? Unless you want to stir the pot or something by saying something about somebody or whatever. I mean, I don't know. But I never felt the need. Look, I'm out here every day on the air. You hang your cheese into the wind. It's here for all to see. It doesn't matter. I don't need a burner account for that. Kevin says, would the Packers still have control over him if he opted out? Yes, they would. Yes, they would. They would still have his rights. And look, I know that many, and the prevalent thought is that if you're going to trade Aaron Rodgers, wait and do it until after the season because the value is not as high right now. And I think it's just the opposite. I think if you wait and you hold a guy who's 37 years old, going to be 38 by the end of the season, out a season, if he doesn't come back, you're not going to get any more for him because he's not going to be the reigning MVP. There's somebody else that's going to be winning the MVP. As good a quarterback as he is, you cannot take a year off of football and act like it's no big deal. You just can't. It takes you too long to come back. And at 38 years old, 38 going on 39, I don't think you're going to get as much for him. I think if you're going to trade him, you do it now and you get everything you possibly can. But I am starting to leak more and more and more towards I think he's going to come back for training camp. I'm sticking with the 70% of me says he's not, just because I've been there the entire time. But that is more optimistic than many when all of this first began. So as much as I want to say I'm down to 50-50, I still think you got to figure out a way for Aaron Rodgers to come back and save face, right? But I think I just too many guys that I talked to last week up in Rice Lake that are former players said, one, you're not leaving $32 million laying there on the floor. Two, you're not going to hang your guys out in the wind to answer for you consistently. Three, you're not at that age, and knowing that this is an opportunity for you to get a championship, you're not going to leave that legacy laying on the line. Nobody can get into the mind and the depth of Aaron Rodgers, but just for all of those reasons, I keep thinking to myself, you know what? They're right. Why would you stay away? Just come back. The Packers give you the best opportunity to win a championship. Just come back. Because this is now beyond a contract negotiation or more money, or this is beyond all of that. This is now about just hurt feelings, angry feelings. You move past it, because each day that goes by, the support, if you will, is eroding. And after a while, if you don't speak out, nobody understands what your problem is. 877-867-1670, agree or disagree. When we come back, we're going to take a step into the world of golf as to what's going on up north. We're going to talk to our buddy Todd up at Four Seasons Island Resort. We're going to talk to him a little bit about what they have going on and their big 4th of July weekend coming up, how golf is shaping up in the North Dare, because they've got both Pine Mountain with Timberstone Championship Golf Course, and they've got the Four Seasons Island Resort right there on the Miscano Island, and they've got the 9-hole executive golf course. And so we'll talk with Todd a little bit about all of that coming up. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Glad to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Hey, don't forget about our friends over there at Skipper Buds. Skipper Buds has a good selection of boats and boats that you can order. You can pre-order and start getting them in towards the August portion of our boating season. And just give them a call over there. They got some good people, and Todd is the GM over there. Get a hold of him, 262-544-1200. That's 262-544-1200. Pontoons, yachts, sport and deck boats, fishing boats. They've got it all, everything in water sports, and a tremendous service department with Ryan running it over there. But call the GM, Todd. Tell Todd we sent you, 262-544-1200. That's 262-544-1200. From one Todd to the next, our buddy Todd Campbell, who's the GM up there at Four Seasons Island Resort. We go up north. Todd, how you been?
I'm doing great, Bill. How are you?
We are doing well. How is the golf season up there, not only on the island, but over at Timberstone Championship Golf Course as well?
Timberstone's been great. Golf course is in great shape. We finally got some much-needed rain here this week, but the golfers are loving it, and it's been awesome. The river course is in great shape. Golf is good up here, man.
I was thinking about you the other day when I was starting to read more into the two things. One is the Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau feud when we start to talk about the world of golf, and finally a little controversy to discuss. And then obviously the match that is coming up on July 6th. Obviously we've got the majors, which are still one more to go around the corner. But are you looking more forward to the Open Championship over across the pond, or to the match that's coming up between Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers?
Well, you know how I'm a big Brady fan. I'm not a Rodgers fan. So the match will be fun to watch. It'll be entertaining. So it'll definitely be entertaining. But I mean, the Open Championship, it's the oldest, major in the world. It's my second favorite major in golf behind the Masters. So I always get pumped up for that. They're playing, I think, Royal St. George this year.
Yeah, and then obviously the Ryder Cup is coming here later this year as well, which everybody's beginning to really start to kind of amp up for and anticipate. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the British Open. When you talk about the world of golf, we were talking about this here in our own backyard. How many people, I guess, come to you as far as, I'm not saying bucket list, but as they start to make the turn around the state and try to play some of the top courses in the state, you can effort across the border just a little bit there into Timberstone, because that place is beautiful. I've had more than a few people that have gone there and sent emails talking about how beautiful that golf course is.
No, you're right. I've been really fortunate, Bill. In my 27-year PGA career, I've played some of the best around the country, and Timberstone's right up there. I mean, it's a great layout. It's very playable. It's very fair. Conditionings are good. The greens are very true. It's easy to get to. We're getting a lot of people from southern Wisconsin, northern Chicago that are making the loop up to the UP, because there's just some great golf courses up here. And we're fortunate because they usually hit us when they enter the UP, and then they also hit us on the way back leaving the UP. So, the UP does not get the recognition that it should, with Casino having two great golf courses, Gray Walls up in Marquette, which to me, I'm a architectural buff. I think that's one of the better golf courses in either Wisconsin or Michigan. That might raise some eyebrows. A lot of people don't like the layout of that golf course, but as a pure architectural layout and playability, I think it's awesome. But yeah, it's if you haven't been up to the UP, if you haven't played Timberstone, and you love the game of golf, you're not doing yourself justice. You need to get up here.
Hey, real quick before I let you go, I know that you guys have obviously great golfing on the island. You have the 9-hole executive there with you guys at the Four Seasons, but the one new feature this year, and to get off this topic of golf real quick, the guided waterfall tours. Talk about that real quick. I've had a few people that have asked me about that, and I wanted to check in with you and how they're going.
So yeah, they're going really well, actually. So there's 15 waterfalls basically in our Aranet County, and we put together a package where guests will stay here at Four Seasons, and then we have a 15-passenger van, so we load them up first thing in the morning. We meet about 8:30 in the hotel lobby. We hit a handful of designated waterfalls on a tour. They have their own personal. They come back afterwards around 1 o'clock, have dinner down in Boundary Waters, or I guess it'd be lunch. So it all starts in the morning. It's wrapped up by about 2 in the afternoon. It's going really well, and people that have been doing it have been just loving it. It's unique. It's different. It's fun. It's pretty casual. Our guides take the guests around. They get a kick out of it because they can show off, everything that they have in their own backyard here. So nobody else up in Marinette County is doing this, and we're having a good time with it.
Todd, great stuff as always. And I every day I get a letter from somebody or an email from somebody that says they got up there. It's a beautiful place. They finally had a chance to go there, and they appreciate it so much. Great stuff as always. We'll touch base again real soon, okay?
You bet. Hey, and that DeChambeau and Brooks situation,
yeah.
I got Brooks in that one, just so you know.
Good stuff, buddy. We'll talk.
Okay, thanks.
There you go.
There
you go. That's our buddy Todd Campbell. He is the general manager of the Four Seasons Island Resort, and huge golfer. I mean, when you talk about PGA, and been doing it for a long time, but he runs the resort now. So there you go. We got 2 hours down. We got 2 hours yet to go. We have not mentioned really the Brewers. Brewers coming up today. The reopening day. Corbin Burns going to the Hill against John Gray. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show, though. It's coming up right after this.
Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, it's reopening day for the Brewers at American Family Field as they take on Colorado. Today going to be the first time since the fall of 2019 the capacity at the stadium is back at 100%. It comes as Milwaukee sits in a tie with Chicago for first in the NL Central. First pitch against the Rockies is at 3:10. Turning the Bucks, they're going to look to even their Eastern Conference Final Series tonight when they face Atlanta in Game 2. Milwaukee shot just 22% from beyond the arc in Game 1, and they're hitting just 30% from deep in the playoffs. That's a significant drop from where they were as a top 5 shooting team during the regular season. Coach Mike Budenholzer says they just need to continue to let it fly.
We're a good shooting team. Just want the guys to continue to be confident, and we got to create, Giannis, Drew, Chris usually create good looks for their teammates, continue to play with the pass, play with each other, and let it fly. There's a reason the phrase has lived for a long time. It's just what we believe in, and that's your best way to get it going again.
It's going to be Milwaukee and Atlanta at Fiserv Forum tonight with tip coming at 7:30.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Well, Wisconsin's Jonathan Davis going to play for Team USA at the U19 FIBA World Cup next month. The sophomore guard, one of 12 players named to the team after tryouts this week. Meanwhile, it was announced yesterday that the Badgers will face Providence in the Gavitt tip-off games this November. The games feature teams from the Big Ten and the Big East. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Bill Michaels Show on this Friday as we effort towards Bucks basketball coming up tonight. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. You got Brewers baseball and reopening day. Corbin Burns making his 13th start of the season and his second against the Rockies. He last started last Friday. That was at Colorado. Took a no decision in that one. Brewers took a 6-5 10-inning win. And the team is 5-7 in his starts. He got 7 quality starts, and opponents are just batting .205 against him. And he has 108 strikeouts in just 68 2/3 innings. He was on the injured, non-injury related list for a short period of time, but was selected by Milwaukee in the 4th round of that draft in 2016. Has been solid for the Crew and really, really, really coming on this season. 58 consecutive strikeouts to start the year before walking his first batter. Yeah, he's been cooking. So hopefully now it hasn't been perfect over the last few starts, but hopefully he gets another good quality start today. By the way, the Brewers are looking to snap their second season high 3-game home losing streak. They also lost 3 games in a row. I think it was May 13th through the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. So they're looking to snap their 3-game losing streak at home at American Family Field. 877-867-1670 during reopening day. During reopening day. Give us a shout, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, by all means do so. Bucks coming up tonight. And the more I kind of dig into this, and I was kind of looking at statistically some of the numbers for Trae Young and the way the Hawks move the basketball. And yeah, I don't think I'd be putting Drew Holiday out there the more I look at this. You don't want to put Giannis, and I know the popular thought would be to put Giannis and make Trae Young shoot over him to slow him down. But if you pull Giannis out from underneath the basket, you're in essence taking another big man away from the ability to rebound, and you have that legitimate shot at giving up second chance points. And that's kind of what the Hawks want. The Hawks aren't going to beat you with their size. What they're going to do is they're going to beat you with their shooting from the outside. But if you're not going to clean the glass, then it's a quandary. It really is. Nate McMillan has been extremely good at moving this team around. Been one of the winningest teams in the Eastern Conference since he took over as the head coach. And remember, the Hawks have been comfortable 6-2 on the road this postseason. They've got 3 straight road wins as well. And between, Trae Young, Collins, that connection, because Trae Young drives the hoop, he's always looking to dish. Obviously he wants to shoot the basketball, but he's got an ability to involve everybody. Capella, Collins, you go to those big men. So, again, if you take Giannis out of that mix and put him on Trae Young, as many are suggesting, you're also pulling a big man out from down low, and I don't know if I'm a fan of that. 877-867-1670. Meanwhile, we were talking a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and how if he decided to opt out, he would have to opt out by next Friday in order not to have to pay that money back. He would, in essence, make $18.5 million as opposed to paying back $20 million if he decided not to show up for training camp. I don't think. Between you and me, I think it is very unlikely that he opts out. I just don't think that happens. Cheddar Ball says, look, Trae Young's going to get his every night. So what you need to do is limit everybody else. What you want to do is keep Trae Young under 30. and put the clamps on everybody else. You'll win the game pretty much going away at that point. But look, I said before, there's three things that have to happen. Stick with Bud, then Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez. Lopez is playing well, you stick with Lopez. If suddenly Bryn Forbes comes in and they're setting the screens and he's starting to feel it and he gets back shooting prowess that he had during the regular season, go with a hot hand. You got to get Middleton going. He's got to get his shots tonight. So keep working the basketball, keep getting the open looks, because eventually they're going to start falling. His home shooting prowess has been so much better than on the road, and you want to get him back to that tonight because he'll be an asset for you. And then it's use Nate McMillan's words. When he was in the huddle the other night in game one, coming down the stretch, he had told his team, hustle and scrap. And they did. They got scraps. They got second chance opportunities. They out-hustled the Bucks. The Bucks need to take Nate McMillan's words and implement them themselves. Hustle and scrap. That's what they need tonight. Those three things, that'll get you a win. And get you a win, in my opinion, pretty much going away. You may feel a little different, but that's just my opinion. You'll get the win tonight. 877-867-1670. This is from, let's see here. Who says that? Eric says, I think Coach Bud doesn't like Bobby Portis. We all know he should be playing 25 to 30 minutes. You're down by one when you're going with Pat Connaughton on a three-pointer. That makes no sense. Win the series, we're in the finals, and lose, we have a new coach. It's kind of like a win-win. Chad says, why is Pat Connaughton playing 30 minutes? Bobby Portis should have played a lot of those minutes in the game the other night. Portis, I don't know why they decided to pull Portis. That is still, I mean, he's been a really end of the bench guy in the postseason for this team when he was a pretty solid piece all season long. I don't know why he's found himself so deep on the bench, but at least he's getting some minutes and he's proving himself when he gets the opportunity. So I think that's why I said tonight, if he comes in, he starts playing extremely well and giving you points and giving you positivity, stick with a hot hand. Stick with a hot hand. There's no reason to go in a different direction. No reason to go in a different direction. What else do we have here? This one says, Chris Middleton, the most overrated player there is. Why don't you just sit him? He's not overrated, okay? He's overpaid. He's not overrated. For what he gives you, yeah, he gave you, 30-plus the other night in Game 7? No doubt. But then he comes back with this kind of a performance where he just goes away. He's been, for the amount of money he's being paid, he is considered to be superstar status, but he doesn't give you that night in and night out. Some nights he'll give you 34. The next night he'll give you 14. He'll give you 34, 20, 14, 30, 22, 16. I mean, that's Chris Middleton. He's not flash. He's not an over amount of enthusiasm and exuberance. He's just not. He's steady, but he has ebb and flow to his game that you just, guys that are getting paid that level of money don't usually have. But he's not overrated. Because he is what he is. He has not changed his game one iota since he got paid. He just is what he is. He's a good player. He's not great. He's a steady, stable player. But at times he does give you the ebb and flow that'll drive you crazy. That's it. That's the best way I can describe him. Greg says, Brooke Lopez must step up tonight, and Bud needs to learn how to use his bench. I'm going with the stick with a hot hand. Stick with a hot hand. 877-867-1670. You want to chime in, do it. What is your level of concern tonight going into Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most nervous, 1 being cool, calm, and collected. What is your level of concern tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks going into Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals? Jan says they are going to the finals. Have a lot of confidence in my Milwaukee Bucks. Been a long-time Bucks season ticket holder here in Elkhart Lake, which Elkhart Lake will be up there next week. Beautiful place. My dad's had the season tickets ever since they were over at the old arena. She's got in parentheses the Mecca. I don't know what they call it now, she says. By the way, it's the U.S. Cellular Arena. No, it's actually the Panther Arena now. UWM Panther Arena. Says we've had season tickets since my dad had them when they were at the Mecca, and says a lot of confidence in this team. They bounce back. Look at the way they played all season long. If they get a bad loss, they usually step up the next night out. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. It's time to see the Milwaukee Bucks in an NBA Finals again. I hope you're right. Kyle says, I had more concern with game one than I do for this game coming up tonight. Is it just because Atlanta has played so well on the road in game ones and they bring it so heavily that maybe you thought the Bucks might drop game one, but you think, okay, look at the way the Bucks have played all season long. If they do fall, they usually bounce right back. Because that's what I expect tonight. 877-867-1670. Bill, listening to us down in Lake Geneva, says he's watching us, by the way, on YouTube. And he says listens every day in the shop. Said, I think the Bucks are going to win tonight, but game one down in Atlanta is going to be a tough one. To go down 2-1 with a must-win game in game two in Atlanta is not the way to go. Bucks need to win back-to-back games to put themselves back into the driver's seat and therefore put all the pressure on Atlanta. Atlanta's not feeling pressure right now because nobody expected him to be here. Thanks for a great show. Appreciate it. There you go. That's from Bill. Bill listening to us in Lake Geneva. Bill, appreciate that. Thank you. Who's this from? Dude 102. I don't know who the hell that is. Dude 102 says, hey, Unit, I think tonight is going to be the night that Chris Middleton shakes off all the criticism that he received after game one. Look for him to put up 32 tonight. I'm not saying I have a feeling. It's just I have a feeling. Dude 102. All right. Okay, I can go along with that. Like it. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Sparky says, hey, heading down to the Fiserv Forum tonight and then over to Stenny's afterwards. Are you going to be there after the game? I don't know. Probably not. Kristen's got to get up early tomorrow because she's got her rider's classes for motorcycle riding tomorrow morning and Sunday morning and has to be there, I think, at 7:30. So we're probably going to catch the game and then call it a night real quick. So I don't think we'll be there too late tonight, but going to be down there and enjoying some of the Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread for sure. I don't know. And this one's from Kyle, who says, are the wing prices back down yet? I don't know. I couldn't honestly tell you. I know that, there's a national ad campaign out now. I can't remember who is it. The guy is sitting in his driveway with a bunch of really cool cars and a huge crib behind him. And it says, it might be for Wingstop. Where it says,
it's Rick Ross.
Is it? Okay. Where he's sitting in his driveway and they're asking him about a wings. And he said, now we've got the same flavor on the breast that we had on the wings or on the thighs that we had on the wings or something like that. Have you seen that? Have you seen that, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay.
Electric.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think the wing shortage has gone away. I still think there's a wing shortage out there. So we'll see. But I'm gonna head down tonight. Doesn't mean I won't do wings. I just don't know how much they have. Because I want at least 8 to 16 wings tonight. Mild, blue cheese, celery, couple of beers, and the Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread. That should be on your pyramid of foods to eat. You know, you got your grains, you got your fruits, you got your vegetables, and then that should be on your pyramid of food. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Got more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show continues on. Hey, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling over the next, few weeks, months, and doing it in our RV from Kunis RV, Wisconsin's fastest growing RV dealer. Your travel and camping experts right there at Kunis RV. Motorhome, fifth wheel, camper van, travel trailer, Kunis RV, they got you covered. Whatever it happens to be, they are huge. And they have Dutchman, Forest River, Nexus, which is what we have. They've got Keystone, Winnebago, Thor. I mean, there's just so much more that they have. And they have, whether it's consignment, which they do, or new or used, or like I said, motorhome, fifth wheel, camper van, travel trailer, whatever. They have got it all. And they have 9 locations in the state of Wisconsin, one of them in northern Illinois as well. All you got to do for the one nearest you is go to Kunis, Kunes, QV.com. KunisRV.com. They're offering top dollar for your trade-in as well. And consignment. They offer consignment, like I mentioned before. And if you're within 50 miles of a dealership, they're happy to come and pick up your vehicle and put it on their lot. Give them additional inventory. And they'll be the ones that, put up with customers going through it, looking at it, kicking the tires, all that kind of stuff. That way you can just sit back, relax, and wait for your RV or whatever it happens to be to sell. So check out our friends at Kunis, Kunes, KunisRV.com, all over the state of Wisconsin and beyond the borders. KunisRV.com. Good stuff from them. This is from Cheddar Ball, says, you like wings? I do. I'm not a big wing fan, to be honest with you. I just love Stenny's wings. I just always have. They are not only good, they're like Barry Bonds wings, man. They're like wings on steroids. They're huge. Kanger says, how many wings have you eaten in one sitting? 8, 6. I can eat if I force myself. But that's about it. I can't do much more than that. I've never done more than that. Put it that way. Usually I do about 12, and then I'm kind of like, okay, I'm done. And then I take 4 home. So if they did 10 and 16 and then 24 or whatever, then I'd probably say, okay, I could probably do that. Could do 10. 10 would be a great number. But 8, hey, you do a little bit of cheese bread, the Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread, and then 8 wings. That's a good day right there. I don't care who you are. That's banner. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Are you going to do celebratory wings tonight if the Bucks win? Well, I don't know about celebratory wings, but I mean, that would be my dinner if I'm there. You know? I don't know what else to do. Mark says, did you hear about Jason Kidd getting the head coaching job of the Mavericks? Yeah, I did. We did talk a little bit about that, mentioned it yesterday. But the Mavericks finalizing that deal to make Jason Kidd their next head coach. Mark Cuban, also close to hiring longtime Nike executive Nico Harris, to a front office position as well. Cuban and Harrison, I should say. He's close to Jason Kidd. They've all, I guess, had discussions about, coaching candidates and all that kind of stuff. And Kidd's the guy. So, Kidd has already apparently started reaching out to other coaches to put his staff together. So that's pretty much a done deal. That's a done deal. But Jason Kidd, back coaching. And Dirk Nowitzki, by the way, is on the advisory board to Mark Cuban and advising Cuban that Jason Kidd would be a good fit in Dallas. I mean, Jason Kidd played for them, I think, on a couple of different occasions. So, the Mavericks are about ready to hire Jason Kidd as their next head coach. And, because Carlisle obviously out, and Carlisle's now moving on. So there you go. And, Carlisle's gone. Donnie Nelson as well. And many felt that Donnie Nelson was – some felt that Donnie Nelson was had missed on more than a few occasions. But Luka Doncic, he really liked Nelson. So they're trying to sign Doncic to a long-term contract. He has then said that, he had a really strong relationship with Donnie Nelson and that he might rethink. I don't think he's going to say, I don't think he said rethink. I think he said something to the effect of, we're working on it, but he's overseas right now preparing for the Olympics. And whether or not they sign him to you would assume they're going to assign him to a long-term deal. But he really liked Donnie Nelson. It was kind of like when they let Donnie Nelson go, did the hopes of signing Luka Doncic to a long-term contract go out the window as well? I don't think so. But that was some of the speculation that might hurt the Mavericks' chances of getting him back. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do it. Hey, by the way, we were talking golf a little bit earlier. I don't know if you read this, but the PGA Tour players who do have to travel to the Open Championship over in England next month, they're going to face different protocols and procedures over there than what they have here in the States. According to the player information update, which was sent out this week, the Open at Royal St. George's in Sandwich, England, will operate under strict government oversight from the UK government, according to Martin Slumber, CEO of the RNA, the Royal and Ancient, which runs the Open. Among things that players will not be allowed to share accommodations, and will be required to undergo COVID-19 tests, regardless of vaccination status. They will not be allowed to visit restaurants, pubs, or grocery stores, all of which have been allowed for months via the PGA Tour. And yet the tournament is being permitted to have up to 32,000 spectators per day at the venue in southeastern part of the country. Also, the exact numbers were not reported last month to the PGA Championship at Kauai, South Carolina, but the spectator capacity being allowed at the Open is likely the largest of any worldwide golf event since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. So it's really weird. They're forcing the players into all of these protocols, but they're basically saying, come one, come all, to be a witness to this. So you can't go to a pub, you can't go to a restaurant, you can't go to a grocery store, you can't room with anyone else. You have to keep your family away, but they're going to open it up to all the fans. It's just a really weird setup scenario for the Open Championship, how they're running this thing. Each player is permitted to bring one caddy and a support team member, a coach, a manager, a medical support person, a translator. Players can also choose only one. Normally, they've been allowed to stay with their wives, their kids, all that kind of stuff. But here, one family member can attend. But that person must already be in the UK, have completed any quarantine requirements, and must stay in the same accommodation. It's a little weird. So it's just a very weird set of circumstances for the Open Championship. But it's what you got to do, until you get completely back to life as we knew it prior to March of 2020. It's what you got to do. So we probably have another 6 months of this around the world, maybe, before things completely come full circle and return to normal, I guess. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free to go ahead and do it. Mark says, Bucks tonight, I'm feeling confident, but it's an 8 on my scale of anxiety. If they lose this game, I think I may throw something at my television. Don't do that. Because you break the TV, you can't watch game 3. If you break the TV, you can't watch the Brewers tomorrow, because the Brewers will be back at it. Don't break your TV. Don't throw anything at the TV, unless you're throwing marshmallows. Throw marshmallows, okay, you can whale them a little bit, but still, you don't want to do damage to a flat panel, right? Especially plasma. You put one of those dents in there and you get that little goofy blotch spot. You don't want that. Nobody needs that. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hey, a big reminder. Our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, you have until the end of the month. 2 different deals. Pick the one that's best for you. All you got to do, you can either, 1, get 6 years, no interest financing, or 2, you can get up to 40% off installation, whichever benefits you more. So you make your consultation right now. You say, look, I want to get somebody into my house, come in and look at my windows and doors, whatever I need to be replaced. And they will add the highest quality, the highest value, the most value to your home. And they're the #1 consumer survey in 2021 window out there. So you bring them into your home, you beautify your home. They've got different lines, different colors, different hardware, all of that kind of stuff. But they will custom cut them, custom measure them 2, 3, 4, 5 times, then custom cut them, install them in as little as a day, and you can either finance them, 6 years, no interest, or get 40% total off the installation. Whichever amount of money benefits you the most, that's what they're willing to do. That's our friends from Pella Windows and Doors. So call them, 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA, 855-PELLA-WI, or go to PellaWI.com/radio. That is PellaWI.com/radio. That's our good friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Stay tuned. We still got a lot more to get to. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
On the 50-yard line, you were always a perfect.
Welcome back. Glad to have you. Hey, Chicago, I don't know if you saw this or not, but an unidentified former Blackhawks player says in a lawsuit against the team that a then assistant coach sexually assaulted him back in 2010 during a playoff run into the Stanley Cup title, and that the team did nothing after he informed a now retired employee about the incident. You don't hear this very often. I mean, you will hear about like cheerleaders being sexually assaulted or harassed, front office personnel, but you don't ever hear a player saying that an assistant coach. After leaving the Blackhawks, former assistant coach Bradley Aldrich was convicted in 2013 in Michigan of fourth-degree criminal sexual assault involving a student. He's now in the state's registry of sex offenders. Chicago public radio station WBEZ reported in a series of stories based on legal filings, police records, and interviews. The inaction by the Blackhawks helped enable Aldrich to go on and assault the Michigan student and possibly others, according to Susan Loggins, the former player's attorney. So apparently, this, like I said, you don't usually hear about this, but now it's out there. But he had, obviously has been stopped along the way and then properly labeled. But now you got a lawsuit that's been filed against the team because the team did basically nothing. That was it. So anyway, it was one of those stories that came out today and kind of caught my eye because you just don't usually see that. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there for you. By the way, I wanted to ask you this. Does anybody play pickleball? This was brought up to me earlier today, and Ben, do you know what pickleball is?
Yeah, 7th grade gym class.
Right? So they play with a wiffle ball and a couple of like what look to be bigger than ping pong paddles. Am I correct?
Honestly, I don't even remember. I just remember hating the name because I don't like pickles.
I get up every morning, and if I don't go downstairs to the gym in the house, I'll go to the gym up the street. And I drive past, there's a school near my home, and in the back of the school used to be 4 full-size tennis courts, which have now 2 of the courts have been converted into, I think, 4 pickleball courts. And these people are fanatical. I mean, in the wintertime, after a heavy snow, and they're like, and I'm not saying they're young, and I don't want to say they're old, but people that are older are out there, they shovel the courts and play. And I mean, it gets down. We know what winters are like in Wisconsin. And it's cold, and they're out playing pickleball. I mean, like every damn day in the rain, late at night. They're like pickleball crazy. But pickleball is, I don't know why, but it's the interest in it is skyrocketing. They actually have USA Pickleball. I didn't even know they had that. I thought it was just something that people were just kind of doing just to do because they couldn't play tennis anymore. The National Seniors Games, they have an association. They have a big giant pickleball tournament now. But a buddy of mine asked me the other day, he said, hey, have you ever driven past the school? And I said, yeah, why? And he said, what are those people doing? And I said, I think it's called pickleball. And so we started talking about it, and he was saying the same thing. That it's fanatical. These people are out there all the time playing pickleball. You go out there on a Saturday night, warm night, lights are on. I don't know how they turn the lights on over there. I would assume they've got some kind of a permit or something. I don't know what they do, but because on nights they don't play, the lights are out. But lights are on, and they're playing pickleball. And I'm not talking like 4 people. I'm talking 30, 40 people. They're over there. They're in and out. They got seats and benches set up. They wipe out, towel off, and then the next round of pickleball starts. Pickleball is crazy right now. Crazy. Just never saw anything like it. So I wasn't sure if it was just only in my area or not, but I saw that there was a story in USA Today about it, and I didn't read it, but about how pickleball's gone crazy. People going nuts over pickleball. Kinger says, I was my gym class champion for that semester in pickleball. I can see that. I guess if you can't play tennis, play pickleball. It's kind of like playing ping pong, but you're standing on the table. Might be the best way to put it. I don't even know what the rules are in pickleball. I couldn't tell you. Don't know what the rules are. I can't remember. Go ahead.
I think it's similar to like racquetball or that racket tennis you see like near golf courses and near tennis courts.
Okay. I don't know.
That's one of those sports, kind of like that in handball. I'm convinced, like they play it at the Olympics, but I'm convinced you could put any American professional athlete into that sport and they'd be the best in the world.
Right. I remember as a kid, we had a place called the Western Racket Club. It was near my house. And you had tennis courts on one end and racquetball courts on the other. And I remember playing racquetball all the time when we were in like 8th grade. We'd go, a friend of ours had a membership. His dad had a membership there. So we were all able to go up and play racquetball. And I loved it because they had Orange Julius up there. So you play racquetball and you get an Orange Julius afterwards. So, or Orange Whip, as they called it. But yeah, that racquetball I used to have a lot of fun at. Pickleball, I've never played pickleball. I'm not even in school. I know some people say they played it in high school. I don't remember playing pickleball in school. So it's just one of those weird topics. I just thought I'd throw it out there. 877-867-1670. If you're a pickleballer, let me know. And I did not even know that we had a USA pickleball circuit. Didn't know. There's all kinds of weird sports that are out there. Those are the ones you see. At some point or another, I can almost say that you're going to have the pickleball tournaments on ESPN late at night. I mean, they will put bag tournaments. And where I grew up, it was called cornhole. They put bag tournaments on ESPN. They put tag tournaments on, I think it's Fox Sports. I saw that. I actually videotaped that. I'm like, what is this? These guys, it looks like they're just running around. And it's actually a game of tag and an obstacle course. They're putting that on television. So I would assume at some point or another, pickleball is going to be there. I don't know. 877-867-1670. Right? Ultimate Frisbee was a thing on TV for a while, so you got to put pickleball out there. Hell yeah.
Bill, you're not going to go down and play Quidditch at the local park?
No. I usually, if I see that, I'm usually biking past, waving, and saying, good for you. I'm not quite there yet. When I start wearing pants that are up above my belly button and they're like cutting me off in a certain area and they're floods and I'm wearing white shoes, that's about the time that I'll start kind of efforting into that area. Don't get me wrong. I bet you a lot of the older people that are down the street from me could probably whoop my ass in pickleball. But no, I'm not going to be in the park anytime soon. I tell you what, though, one thing I will be doing is I can now grill their ass. I'll tell you that right now. Kicking off the tailgate season with brats and steaks and chops and all kinds of good stuff from our friends at Scholze Family Farms Beef. Go to Scholze, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. Delicious pasture-raised beef delivered to your doorstep right here in the state of Wisconsin. You can order today, get it in just a couple of days, right to your house. Go to ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. Or they can deliver it to your cottage up north. Or if you're going to travel, they can travel it, that kind of thing. Or get it delivered to your house, keep it packed in the box with dry ice, and then take it with you, and you're good to go. That's our friends at ScholzeFamilyBeef.com, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. And being a family farm, they have a family farm store. So if you're out in the Humbird, Wisconsin area, which is like Black River Falls, stop in, look around, set yourself up either a subscription or try a sample box. You can have it shipped right to your house, whatever, but go to ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That is Scholze, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That is ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. No more pickleball talk, unless, of course, you got something to chime in regarding pickleball, but no more pickleball talk. But we got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Got some movement via the Brewers to talk about. Tell you what that is coming up momentarily. Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show continues on, and reminding you, our friends at Bud Light, the pavilion was rocking a couple of nights ago, and you've got the Wednesday Night Live is back. Don't forget Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network, and the Budweiser Pavilion on Wednesday Night Live is back. And don't forget also, you can go to check out the Budweiser Pavilion on Facebook and even see their complete lineup for the Wisconsin State Fair as well. But make it a Bud Light kind of day. Head out to the Wisconsin State Fair Park and check out Wednesday Night Live in the Budweiser Pavilion. So the Brewers make a deal. In case you're just tuning us in, the outfielder Troy Stokes Jr. and the right-hander Andel Gustav have been acquired from Pittsburgh in exchange for the catcher Samuel Escuardo, and going to be assigned will be assigned to AAA Nashville. The righty Zach Godley has been assigned outright to AAA Nashville, and then elected for free agency instead. So the Brewers getting Troy Stokes Jr., the outfielder, and Lorenzo Cain's injury has been pretty significant. He's been down for quite some time. And Jackie Bradley Jr. certainly hasn't given them the numbers that they have wanted. But Stokes Jr. coming in, the righty, Andel Gustav as well. So Brewers making a deal. See how that works out. And Escuardo, you pronounce it. He's 17 years old. You talk about a really, really young product. That's I don't want to say a throw-in guy, but he's really young. Really young. But there you go. Brewers making a deal. Doing anything and everything they can, just trying to get better. Right now, you just need another bat. Somebody else, anybody else. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. This one's from Mango Dave. Mango Dave says, what about Keston Hiura? Do you think he's going to be able to bounce back? I hope so. I really do. I mean, he goes down to AAA and just tears it up in AAA, and then gets back to the bigs and just falls flat on his face. I mean, I don't know how many more times you can continue to do this back and forth, but he's got to produce. You really, really hope that this time he comes up and just sticks, you know? Tom says, by the way, pickleball generally played by older folks. It's not a max effort sport like racquetball. By the way, I played at Western Racket Club a few times, in fact. It was the first professional tournament I ever played in, the Saranac Open. Really? Down in Cincinnati? Wow. Now, well, unless, Tom, you're listening to us from down there in the Queen City, who knows? Scott says, nice to see the Brewers bring in another 111 hitter. At this point, you just anything and everything. You're trying anything just to kind of bolster your offense. Pizza Pete says, Keston Hiura needs to stick this time. He has to produce. Otherwise, you just lose faith in him. His ability to rake in the minors will far outweigh his ability to actually rake in the bigs. Therefore, he'll become one of those has-beens really, really quick. Well, they're going to give him every opportunity. Don't get me wrong. But I don't doubt you that if he continues to come up and hit 180, 210, yeah, you're going to look at him as you're eventually, not saying it's going to happen this year, but you're eventually going to look at him as one of those lifetime career hitters in the minors. You know, kind of like Crash Davis. Crash Davis was going for the all-time home run record in the minors. Didn't want anybody to know because it's a rather dubious honor. Remember that in the movie Bull Durham? That's like being the best second-place finisher you can be, but you're never going to be the top guy. That's kind of what that's like. So you would hope that Keston Hiura sticks. You really, really do, because, man, they need his bat. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. The Brewers, by the way, coming into tonight's contest against the Colorado Rockies, today's contest, 16-6 against the National League West this season, including 6-1 versus Arizona, 2-2 against Colorado, 3-1 against the LA Dodgers, and 5-2 against San Diego. So they've had some success. Hopefully they can get at least 2 out of 3 against Colorado, at least 2 out of 3 against Chicago, and then end up with 17 wins in the month of June, which would be a really nice accomplishment. And most likely will put them a game or two up in the division standings going in to July and then heading into the All-Star break. By the way, Luis Urias, batting .298 with 3 homers and 12 RBI in his last 23 games. Got a 7-game hit streak going on right now, hitting .370 with 1 home run, 6 RBI. He is a game shy of the season high by a Brewer, which was, believe it or not, Jackie Bradley Jr., 8-game hit streak. And Colton Wong's done it too. So at least Urias right now, is hitting the ball. Tomorrow, by the way, Adrian Hauser against the righty Antonio Senzatella. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Colorado. That's it. Coming up in the final hour of the show here on a Friday, not only are we going to have our Chug Challenge, but we're going to get into, again, your level of anxiety created by this Milwaukee Bucks team coming up in Game 2, which is tonight. Also, we'll talk a little Brewers baseball, but the likelihood, and I had a couple of people ask me, the likelihood of Aaron Rodgers opting out of this season, which if he's going to make money and not play football, he would have to do it by next Friday because he could opt out under the league protocol coming out of the pandemic. He could opt out, no questions asked, and still get paid, basically. $18.3 million total, to be exact. As opposed to not showing up for training camp and actually forfeiting money, which would be to the tune of about $20 million. So he could make the money and just walk away. He will not do that. I am 99% sure he's not doing that. He's got a point to make. He's not doing that. Kinger says apparently CBS Sports Network actually has a pickleball show called The Inside World of Pickleball. Who knew? Who knew? Pickleballers getting their pub. Good for them. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next hour, right after this.
During the regular season, Coach Mike Budenholzer says they just need to continue to let it fly.
We're a good shooting team. Just want the guys to continue to be confident, and we got to create, Giannis, Drew, Chris usually create good looks for their teammates. Continue to play with the pass, play with each other, and let it fly. There's a reason the phrase has lived for a long time. It's just what we believe in, and that's your best way to get it going again.
It's going to be Milwaukee and Atlanta at Fiserv Forum tonight with tip coming at 7:30.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Well, Wisconsin's Jonathan Davis going to play for Team USA at the U19 FIBA World Cup next month. The sophomore guard, one of 12 players named to the team after tryouts this week. Meanwhile, it was announced yesterday that the Badgers will face Providence in the Gavitt tip-off games this November. The games feature teams from the Big Ten and the Big East. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil-Print.
Final hour on a Friday. Bill Michaels Show. Getting ready for the weekend, getting ready for later today. You got the Brewers re-opening day. And you got Bucks basketball tonight, game 2 of the Eastern Conference Series. What is your level? What is your level of concern tonight for this game? What is your level of concern tonight for this game for the Milwaukee Bucks? 10 being a very high level of concern. 1 being you really have no concern at all. What is your level of concern tonight for this ball game as the Bucks getting set to tip off in game 2 against the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young, who just slaughtered them with his downtown shooting in game 1. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. The Atlanta Hawks, by the way, Nate McMillan took over, and he just very calmly has built this bond with Trae Young, and Coach McMillan says the way that Trae stands at attention, the way he looks, him in the eye during timeouts. Nate McMillan has certainly reached Trey. Trey believes in Nate. Nate believes in Trey. That they really believe that they're capable of winning this thing. A team that was not supposed to be this deep into the postseason just yet, they find themselves up 1-0 again in a series that most picked them to lose. And they've been able to sustain this long. Sometimes, I don't know why, you just find a really good mesh between coach and player. I told you, I watched. Now, I didn't get a chance to hear Budenholzer. Okay, so I got to be fair. But I watched Budenholzer's interaction with his team, and then I watched Nate McMillan's interaction and heard his interaction with his team. And McMillan impressed me because it wasn't just X's and O's. It wasn't like we're going to do this out of the timeout. We're going to set this play up. It was, this is what you need to do to win. If you don't do this, you won't win. I'm telling you, and I'm giving you your warning shot right now. If you don't do this, you won't win. And that's when he said, hustle and scraps. Hustle and scrap. That's the way you're going to win. You can't rely on just the Bucks screwing it up. You can't rely on just this team, this Hawks team, just playing better basketball. You have to be able to create your own circumstance. And that's why he said hustle and scrap. So we'll see. See what happens tonight, because certainly the Bucks need to hustle and scrap tonight. Big time. Big time. 877-867-1670. What is your level of concern regarding the Milwaukee Bucks coming up? Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Series a little bit later on tonight. This is from Zephyr. The Zephyr. The Zephyr. I don't think I've ever received an email from the Zephyr before, but the Zephyr says, heading down to the Brewers game, going to do a little tailgating, eat a couple of brats, hot dogs, more than a few beverages, taking a shuttle over to the Fiserv Forum. My dad has tickets tonight, going to the game with him, making it a twofer. Hopefully I get a chance to see 2 wins. Well, if you're having a lot of beverages, hopefully you get a chance to see the games. Just saying. That would be great. I mean, what a day it would be. Can you imagine if you get a chance to go to, quote, reopening day and game 2 in which you see the Bucks get a win tonight and kind of launch themselves into the remainder of the Eastern Conference Finals and then give themselves a legitimate shot at getting into the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974? That's a magnanimous day right there. That's a fantastic day. 877-867-1670. Greg says, I look at this Bucks team with a lot of anxiety. They seem to be hit or miss at times. Brook Lopez has to show up tonight along with Middleton. If those two guys come to play, this team should win easily. If you give Giannis his normal point output, provided, he doesn't take 9 threes and miss them all. If you take Giannis at, say, 30 points, 28, 34, 32, somewhere in there. If you take Giannis, if you put Lopez back into the teens and giving you a little bit of rim protection, and Middleton gives you 18 or better, you're right. You're going to win this ball game. I mean, that's Drew Holiday can't go cold and take 26 shots and only hit 3. He can't do that. But if Drew Holiday still gives you, 16 to 18 points, if Chris Middleton gives you 16 to 18 points, Giannis does his thing, and you get the rest, then yeah, you're going to walk away with a win. You're going to walk away with a win rather easily, in my opinion. What do you got tonight? Anxiety in this contest tonight.
Anxiety, not that high. I mean, to me, it just comes down to what Bud does to guard Trae Young. Because especially if Drew Holiday is able to score like he did, I'm confident about what the Bucks do on offense. It's just about, can Trae Young do that again and win another game? So I'm not very anxious about the Bucks winning, but I do consider it a must-win game.
What is the poll question right now? Where are we stand on that? Because I know you put that up a little while ago.
We are about 50, 100 votes in. Pretty much 85% of people that have voted are in the 7 to 10 range, considering this game a must win.
Considering tonight's game a must win. Okay. There it is. Okay. On a level of 7 to 9, which is your level of concern, 40%. 10, on a level of 10 anxiety, 45% of you. And 13% have your level of anxiety between a 4 and a 6. That's quite a few people that have a lot of anxiety about this game upcoming tonight. Pittsburgh Pete says, Pittsburgh Pete, listening to us over there in Pennsylvania, says, listen all the time, longtime Brewers fan. Hate the Steelers. Became a Packers fan back in 2010. Not a fan of Ben Roethlisberger. And I think the Bucs get a win tonight. But if they don't get the win tonight, I don't think all hope is lost. This team has the ability to overcome if they just simply hit their shots. I think the Bucs are the better team. You go pound for pound. I think the Bucs are a better team. I don't think they're as good a shooting team as what the Hawks are, but I also think the Hawks don't match up on the inside with the way the Bucs can. So if the Bucs keep them at bay and keep them off the glass, the Bucs are going to win the game easily. I just feel that the Bucs are going to get this thing done tonight. Juniper, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Juniper says Bucs tonight by 7, 137-130. That's a high-scoring affair. You think it's going to be a 137-130 game? If it is, there is zero defense being played in this contest tonight. None. Not at all. Emilio says Brooke Lopez is going to be the X factor tonight. Mark my words, has to have a couple of blocks and give you 13 to 18 points. If he does, they'll win. Pappy says, what happened to Bobby Portis? He needs to get more playing time. Why would you have Pat Connaughton in there? They're two different players. Portis is more of an inside guy. Connaughton's more of an outside perimeter guy. Connaughton brings you, he brings you energy and such as well. It's just they're two different style players. If you want to go with a bigger lineup, yeah, you would bring in Bobby Portis. But they're two different players. I don't think you just, you execute one without the other or for the other. I think they could be on the floor at the same time. But they're just two different. I mean, you got one who's a center, another one who's an outside guard. Even though Connaughton can play above the rim because of his leaping ability. Andrea says, heading down to the game tonight, good place to eat prior to. Well, it depends, Andrea, what you're looking for. We've talked about that. What are you looking for? Are you looking for something else? Are you looking for, say, Italian? Go to Calderon Club. Pizza? Go to San Giorgio. Wings? Go down to Stenny's, take the shuttle over. If you're looking for just good bar food, there's Buck Bradley's. There's Goolsby's right there. Or you can go right into the Deer District and try to get in there early enough to where you can get something to eat. But there's places all over downtown. All over. Mark says, did you see Troy Stokes is back? We did. We talked about that. The Brewers making a trade. Troy Stokes coming back from Pittsburgh in the deal, and they send the 17-year-old catching prospect over to Pittsburgh and make a few moves along the way. So there you go. Not a huge move, but a move. Just trying to do something, anything. William says anxiety level of 7. If the Bucs rebound and not do what Barkley said and play dumb, they'll win. I love Charles Barkley in the description. And for the most part, I would say he's right. They can be and Dennis Krause calls it frustrating. I understand that too. Frustrating all you want. They can be a dumb basketball team. Because just as they start to get a rhythm, they can start chucking up shots, missing shots, and they can give away momentum. When they get it, they have sometimes the inability to hold on to it. And through much of their own doing, I might add. Jason says, Bucks by 20? Bucks by 20, and I love Buck Bradley's. Buck Bradley's good place. Did you know that Buck Bradley's, and I think this is true, Buck Bradley's is the longest bar, single piece of wood bar east of the Mississippi. I think that's true. the longest bar, physical bar in Buck Bradley's east of the Mississippi. Thought I'd throw it out there. We're here to teach you something each and every day on the program. Hopefully we did. This is from Art, who says, I love pickleball. Played all the time with my wife and two of my grandchildren. They love going down to the local park and playing as well. We played a middle school near our home, which there's a middle school near my home. That's the one that's the one I see all the time. There's a middle school near our home that has tournaments all the time. By the way, they live near Rice Lake. There's a middle school near our home that has tournaments all the time. We play pickleball 4 days a week. It is great exercise, keeps you feeling young and fit. Well, Art, you the man. You the pickleball man. There you go. I drive past it every day. It's packed. Pickleballers are everywhere. And this is James, who says, how come nobody's talking about the Chicago Cubs with their no-hitter last night? First of all, it was a combined no-hitter. It's not one pitcher. Okay. It was Zach Davies. Kimbrel was in on it. Was it Tepera was in on it? I think somebody else was there too. I can't remember who. But it was like 3 or 4 pitchers combined for a no-hitter. And they no-hit the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium last night. I was watching that when we were over at Bar Louie in Brookfield. Because Zach Davies threw the first 6 innings. And they wouldn't let him go after that. I'd go crazy. If I got a no-hitter going, you pull me in the 6th inning? Ugh. Man. But the Dodgers, by the way, have not been no-hit since August 30th of 2015. And oddly enough, it was the Cubs who hit them no then. It was that back then. It was Jake Arrieta at that point. But the Cubs now have 17 no-hitters in franchise history. But this is the team's first ever combined no-hitter. So there you go. And the most recent no-hitter for every Major League Baseball team. It's not even July, and Major League Baseball pitchers have thrown an astonishing number of no-hitters, beginning with San Diego's right-hander Joe Musgrove's dominance of the Texas Rangers back on April 9th. But in the 2021 season is matched 1990, 91, 2012, and 2015 for the most no-hitters in a season since 1900. That's one shy of the all-time record of 8 back in 1884. The first season, overhand pitching was actually allowed. How about that? How about that? That's how many no-hitters have been thrown this year. It's a ridiculous amount. It is a result of sabermetrics. This is the reason why they want to make sure that pitchers aren't putting sticky substances all over their fingers, because they already may have this advantage because hitters just suck. Hitting baseball in the game is bad. It's just bad. I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to make you aware of it. You're probably more than aware of it. It is a boring ass brand of baseball right now. Put it this way, if the Cubs or the Reds or the Cardinals were leading by 5 or 6 games right now, we would still pay attention to the Brewers because of like the stat line and to see if they won or lost. But would we be sitting down to watch craptastic, non-hitting, non-performing baseball night in and night out? Probably not. And if I'm a sponsor and I'm paying for this garbage, I'm probably rethinking where I want to spend my money. I'm probably going, you know what? Why do I want to be participating in a sport in which it's usually over 6.5 minutes between action? Think about that. 6.5 minutes before action. That's a long time, man. That's right up there with watching paint dry. And I'm a baseball fan. That's a long time. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Got more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's finally summer, Gina Della from Pella. You know what that means.
For sure, Mark Chimura. Can you believe it? In just a few months, chilly winds will be sneaking through leaky windows and doors.
But Gina, it's summer. Time for cookouts, golfing, and heading to the beach.
Exactly my point, Chewy. Sure, you and your friends are getting outside, enjoying warm sunshine and fresh air. But if you want to host game day Packers parties in comfort this fall, you've got to call Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin now.
Gina, I already have energy efficient Pella windows, but you seem to be on a roll, so.
Depending on the style and materials you choose, you could upgrade your home with Pella Windows in as little as 8 weeks.
Bring it home, Gina.
And right now, you can choose 40% off installation or 6-year no-interest financing.
That's into 2027.
You're not kidding. Just order by June 30th. Set your free consultation now at PellaWI.com/radio or 855-PELLA-WI.
Certain restrictions apply. See show for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We're back. Glad you're back. 877-867-1670. Don't forget about our friends at Burn Pit Barbecue. They're also one of our on-site our groups that help us out each and every place we go. Go to burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. Good people, veteran-owned, and they've been in business just over a year now. Talk about a time to start a business. Burn Pit Barbecue. Really good sauces. Hot sauce now, rubs, all kinds of good stuff for grilling and smoking and such. But go to burnpitbbq.com, and they ship everywhere. Our buddy ESPN Steve, who pays attention to the program quite a bit, as a matter of fact, on the Bud Light live stream, said that he ordered from them on their website, and within a day and a half, it was there. It was like a day after the next day. It was right there at his house with a nice handwritten note saying thanks so much for supporting veterans. So good stuff. Also, don't forget about our friends Sean and the gang at Epoxy Flooring Done Right. Epoxy Flooring Done Right, Wisconsin home and business owners, epoxy flooring coating services. They'll give it to you at reasonable prices with incredible workmanship and quality and different colors, different finishes. They can even paint your room, paint your home, whatever it happens to be. They can do all of that from Green Bay to Milwaukee to Madison, everywhere in between. Go to epoxyflooringdoneright.com. That is epoxyflooringdoneright.com. Or just call our buddy Sean. Call him directly, 262-443-2852. It's a Wisconsin-based company right here. You don't have to go outside of the state to track them down. Go 262-443-2852. That's 262-443-2852. That's epoxyflooringdoneright.com. Ollie writes, big win tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks. Mark my words, this puts the train back on the tracks. Ollie, I'm hoping you're correct. We're all going to be waiting with bated breath tonight for the end of this game to get it back to good, so to speak. This is from Frank, who says, heading down to the Brewers game right now. I have a bunch of friends in the car that are going to be heading over to the Bucks game after the fact. You had mentioned Water Street. We are coming in from Madison. Is there good places on Water Street? I mentioned Water Street because Water Street has actually had some issues when it comes to illegality, we'll say. But no, look, hey, I still enjoy everything there is to enjoy about downtown Milwaukee. A lot of great places, a lot of great people. I just, with the Deer District being so crowded, and so much excitement for Game 2 coming up tonight. The weather, the sun has just popped out, so maybe the weather will be a little bit better on this evening as well. So go enjoy yourself. There's some places to eat. There's good bars on Water Street. That's what Water Street's been known for years and years and years, is more so the bars, walking up and down the street, in and out of the bars, kind of your own little bar hopping ability down there. Otherwise, down the street, there's restaurants. You go up, into the Brady Street area, there's restaurants. There's all over. It just depends on where you want to go. So, and what you're looking for. 877-867-1670. Hey, Bill, Corbin Burns on the hill tonight. Do you think Corbin Burns is starting to feel some fatigue because so early on he had so many strikeouts? He has not pitched great in his last few outings. No, I just think that the numbers, you can have a really good season or two, and maybe you just all of a sudden you just get it. But your numbers, the back of your baseball card fluctuates some, but it usually is what it is. I didn't expect Corbin Burns to throw, another 56 strikeouts and no walks once he gave up his first walk. You expect a little fallibility out of these guys. That's why the offense is so prevalent, so necessary, because when the pitching is not perfect, you need to be able to go and produce runs. And this team at times has struggled to do that if indeed they didn't get great outings from their pitching staff. And that's a lot of pressure to put on your pitching staff, to have to consistently go to the hill and know that you have to give up 2 runs or less, because your offense is only producing 3 runs on average. You need to produce at least 4 runs per game on average. 4.2, I think, was the magic number from some years ago. And you'll get to 90 wins. But if you produce less than that, you'll struggle. It's just a fact. 877-867-1670. You can find us by giving us a call. You can hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook. Going over to Twitter, as a matter of fact. This is from Hub. Hub says, hey, Bill, look for the Bucks to get a big win tonight. Coach Bud, in spite of Coach Bud. Let's just say the Bucks win the Eastern Conference and they go to the finals and they lose 4 games to 2. Would you fire Coach Bud then? It's like part of the fan base is almost hoping they lose, so they fire the coach. What happens if the coach takes them to the finals? A place they have not been since 1974. Don't you then turn around and say, he's been a good coach? An Eastern Conference Finals, an Eastern Conference playoff again last year, best record in the NBA in back-to-back years, and then this year, again back in an Eastern Conference Finals and possibly a Finals. You know, tell me who's better. Unless you bring back Phil Jackson or you're able to pry Popovich away from San Antonio, who's better? It's almost like people are rooting for the Bucks to fail so they'll fire the coach to get back to where they're at now. I root for nothing but success. I don't understand the level of negativity. You can certainly, hindsight being what it is, you can second guess certain things, but you can't just outright kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Who roots for negative success? Just to prove a point? Is that it? I get flabbergasted at times. 877-867-1670. Go ahead and give us a shout. Let's do this. We'll take a break. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming back after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
How we looking? Bill Michaels here for the Four Seasons Island Resort in Pembine, Wisconsin. And I've got to tell you, when I want to get away for a long weekend, I head to the Four Seasons Island Resort. It's Northeast Wisconsin's best-kept secret, and the amenities include a 9-hole golf course, indoor saltwater swimming pool, sauna, whirlpool, tennis courts, basketball, horseshoe pits, volleyball, and when you're hungry, choose from the Boundary Water Sports Bar and Grill, Lily's Ice Cream Parlor, or fine dining in the Diamond Room. How about all of that? All Marinette County ATV and UTV trails are wide open this year. Guided waterfall tours as well. It's tucked into the North Woods of Wisconsin. The Four Seasons Island Resort is located on the Muscano Island and surrounded by the beautiful Menominee River, which divides Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. An island you can actually drive to. How about that? It's simply gorgeous there. Whether it's a romantic weekend for two, a golf weekend with the boys, or an adventure weekend for the entire family, Four Seasons Island Resort is a place to go. Book your getaway today at thefourseasonswi.com. That's thefourseasonsfourwi.com, and make sure you tell them Bill Michaels sent you.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I got a head scratcher for you. Tell you about that coming up here in a minute. Hey, I was thinking of this. If you're going to another great place, if you're going to go downtown for the Bucks game tonight, and you want to go someplace before or after the game, check out Milwaukee Brewing. It's right on 9th Street. And the cool thing about it, it's right next to the old Pabst Brewery. The cool thing about it is they got a great rooftop patio bar. Beautiful. And overlooks the Fiserv Forum. So if you're looking for a place to go down there tonight. That's a really, really neat place. Also, if you're going to watch the game out in Waukesha, check out our friends at Nice Ash Cigar Bar on Main Street, or the Social House on Lisbon Road in Menominee Falls, who, by the way, they had their home of the cheese curd burger. And on Sunday mornings, the Social House, just go in there, free pancakes. Bloody Mary, any mixed drink, really, but cocktail, you get free pancakes. Oh, face first in the free pancakes. Yes. Take that in a heartbeat. Okay. This is confusing. Jason Lockenfora of CBS Sports, who writes for the covers the NFL, says the NFL coaches that are on the hot seat entering this season. Here we go. Number 1, Matt Nagy. I go along with that. Seems like a long time ago. He was getting accolades, winning trophies in Chicago. The quarterback guru has yet another quarterback to mess with. Okay, I get it. All right. Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, number 2 on the list. He said it's the perfect storm. An owner who believes the team is worthy of a Super Bowl every year since he handpicked the roster, and one who knows he doesn't have so many bites at the Lombardi apple left. Dak Prescott back from injury, making $40 million. And now McCarthy's stable of skill guys on the offense, it's deep. His scheme was in question at a time when he was hired a year ago, and the division has often been the worst in football. Another year of anything close to 2020, and this could be a two and done for Mike McCarthy. Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals. Yep, I get it. He should have been gone a while ago. Cliff Kingsbury. All the hype about his college scheme. The offense comes down to Kyler Murray running around, making plays. David Culley. He's another one. Vic Fangio. He's another one. Then you go to Mike Zimmer. Okay. The constant churn of offensive coordinators and such. Guys that he can't work with. Okay. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back and they still don't win the division, Mike Zimmer might be gone. And then after Mike Zimmer, Matt LaFleur? I kid you not. It says the guy is absolutely, positively should not be on this list in any way, shape, or form with all the games that he has won in just a couple of years. But he says this franchise should also not be at war with one of the greatest players ever. And the reality is that the dudes who work around de facto owner Mark Murphy have been around forever. LaFleur is the newcomer and the outsider. And if this season goes sideways and Jordan Love is not ready to play and Rodgers doesn't come back, well, he said, heads could roll in some capacity, and owners don't tend to fire themselves or those closest to them when there are others that you can scapegoat away, namely the head coach. Let that sink in for a minute. Jason La Canfora is saying if the season goes bad and Rodgers does not come back and Jordan Love is not ready to play, Matt LaFleur could lose his job. Do you agree with that? 877-867-1670. Do you agree with that? And that caught me by surprise because I think if there's anybody that's safe, there's probably two people. Bruce Arians and Matt LaFleur. Everybody else could be speculative. Well, Andy Reid, he's pretty safe down in Kansas City regardless. Bill Belichick most likely isn't going anywhere unless they have another dismal season. Then they could say, well, Bill, it was all Tom Brady and not you. Or maybe Bill would just retire. Who knows? But I think everybody else kind of up for speculation, right? But Matt LaFleur on that list? Really? I found that a little unbelievable. But I started thinking about this. If indeed it plays out that way, not with the firing of Matt LaFleur, but let me ask you this question. Aaron Rodgers, say he opts out. He doesn't come back. They don't trade and get anything for him. And the season goes horribly wrong. Jordan Love looks lost. He just doesn't look like a first-round draft choice. Okay? If there is someone to be fired, who should then be fired? Now think about that. If there's somebody in Green Bay that would be on the hot seat, who would that be? He's right. Owners tend to not fire themselves, and Mark Murphy is kind of the de facto owner of this team, being the team president. Who would be the de facto firing person? The person that would find themselves out the door? Because that was interesting. Then he says, last but not least on the list would be Brian Flores, down in Miami. So I can't believe he's on the list. He's on the same list as a guy like Matt Nagy, Zach Taylor, David Culley. That was somewhat shocking to me. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Eric says, why would that be LaFleur's fault? My point exactly. In my opinion, and I shouldn't say that as a talk show host because it's pretty much all my opinion, but if Rodgers doesn't come back and Jordan Love looks bad, there's no way in hell I'm going after LaFleur. Unless it was LaFleur's guy from the beginning and LaFleur fell in love with his kid and said, hey, Goody, you got to draft him. Because as much as Goody has done in a positive light, if you lose Rodgers and LaFleur is not the guy after trading up to get him, that to me is a fireable offense. Am I wrong there? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. There's no way I'm firing Matt LaFleur. Nah, baby, nah. Stay tuned. Got the CHUG coming up and final segment of the show coming up as we get you ready for Brewers baseball. We get you ready for Bucks basketball. But I want your opinion on this as well. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad you're back. Bill Michaels Show. Continuing on. And found it a little interesting that Jason Lockenfora, CBS Sports, puts out an article. It says NFL coaches on the hot seat going into the 2021 season. And he starts off with Matt Nagy in Chicago, which I think is he's an easy mark. Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. All you got to do to look at Zach Taylor is say, how many more years do they owe you money? And if it's less than 2 years, then yeah, you would say they would let him go. Otherwise, they don't like to fire coaches and still pay him. Mike McCarthy is on that list just for the fact that they still believe in Dallas, that they're Super Bowl winners. David Culley is on that list. Vic Fangio is on that list. Mike Zimmer's on that list. Brian Flores is on that list. But Matt LaFleur is on that list. And that to me that's head scratching. But when you think about it, now remember, Matt LaFleur seemed to be Mark Murphy's hire. But here we are again in the midst of a Hall of Fame quarterback at odds with this team, this franchise, over, what he perceives to be a mistreatment and such. It can be a little mind-boggling as to how we got to this point again, even though the circumstances are different. How did it come to this? But it's really bizarre, I guess, for lack of a better term, that you would find him there. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. ESPN Steve says that could not be further from the truth. From the truth. The blame would be placed on Rodgers for opting out. No one would be fired, not even an assistant coach. Then again, the Kinger says when you kick a field goal down by 2 scores in a conference championship game, you should be fired. I never agreed with that kicking of the field goal. But there is also, after talking to some of the guys up at Rice Lake, there's also the thought that take the points because that particular drive, the way it was engineered, and the way Rodgers specifically kind of threw it away at the end of that series, that's the reason he chose the points, because he just felt like they just weren't getting it done. But then again, giving it back to a defense that hasn't been able to consistently stop anybody, that's not the way to go either. 877-867-1670. So anyway, coming up tonight, you got Brewers baseball. Brewers are back at it this evening. This afternoon, I should say. I shouldn't say this evening, this afternoon. As it is a 3:10 start time. About an hour and 20 minutes from now. 3:10 start time at American Family Field. It is reopening day, my friends. Reopening day. You got Corbin Burns on the hill against John Gray. Gray is 4-6 with a 4.29 ERA. Corbin Burns 3-4. 2.62 ERA, did not get a decision in his last outing in that 6-5 10-inning win. He went 5 1/3, giving up 8 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, a couple of walks, 6 strikeouts in 96 pitches the last hill. And hopefully is the same against the Rockies. A 3-game series today, tomorrow, and Sunday, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against the Cubs as they close out the month of June. And if they get 4 wins in the next 6 games, they will end up with the exact prediction of 17 wins for the month of June. So I'm hoping that they can steal a couple from Chicago for sure. But if they get that, I really believe that they're going to end up with at least a 2-game lead in the division by the time they get out of July or out of June and head into July and head into the All-Star break. So good things on the horizon for the Brewers. Cross your fingers. 877-867-1670. Meanwhile, you got the Bucks tonight. Game 2 against the Hawks down at the Fiserv Forum. The Eastern Conference Finals gets back underway. And it looks like downtown is just going to be a buzz from people coming out of the Brewers game, people going to the Bucks-Hawks game tonight. People leaving the Brewers game, maybe heading downtown, down to the Deer District to watch that contest, or into the local watering holes in the downtown area. And wherever you are throughout the state or beyond, it's going to be an exciting night of sports. There's no doubt about it, at least for those of us that care about the Wisconsin side of sports. Good time tonight. So that being said, time to do our chug challenge. It's not a David Bakhtiari type of chug, to where I don't think I can out chug him, man. That guy can put it away. But to all of you that are cruising around out there, to the Brewers getting a win, the Bucks getting a win, and for us reconvening again on Monday. Monday, by the way, we're going to be at Ironwood Golf Course in Sussex, Wisconsin, doing the show. We've got our cigar dinner coming up on Monday afternoon. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to join us, you still have the opportunity to. Go to tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com. Tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com. And you can click on the Ironwood cigar event, the golf event. And I'll be there coming up on Monday. You can get your tickets. If you're going to stay in the area and you want to come down, say, from Rice Lake, you want to come from Wausau, you want to come from La Crosse, wherever, come on over. We do have some hotel hookups in the area if you choose to go that route. Otherwise, if you're in the Milwaukee area, the Waukesha, Conomowoc, Madison, Lake Geneva, Sheboygan, whatever, come on down. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can also get your tickets at the golf course. I think it's $75 for golf, cigars, and dinner. So, man, it's going to be a great Monday. Really, really looking forward to Monday. But now it's time. Enjoy yourself. Let's cheers to the weekend. There we go. Cheers to the weekend. Ben, did they ever get you any beverages in the studio, a cooler or anything?
No. I drive home right after anyway, so
okay.
It's better not.
Okay, just checking. Yeah, I'm doing the show from home, so all I got to do is head down to the couch. But, so anyway, there we go. Cheers to the weekend. Coming up on Monday, we'll be back out, like I said, on the road at the golf course. Next week, starting on Friday, we're going to be back at Road America, although we're going up to Road America to start getting set up on Wednesday of next week as NASCAR's coming. And apparently, it's like mayhem. I was trying to get some of the details worked out today for next week up at Road America, and oh my goodness, they're not sure of a lot of things because NASCAR has taken over. The place is almost completely sold. Parking is sold out. Rentals are sold out. Homes are sold out. Tailgating, camping, all that stuff sold out. The only thing that's left is just tickets to walk in. It is mayhem up there. Mayhem up there. Brian says Bucks in 5. Mark my words. Eric says Sean McVay should be on that list with the weapons that he has had, and also adding Stafford. If that doesn't work, then what? But that guy took that team to a Super Bowl. Just a few years back, he took that team to a Super Bowl. That bought him some leash. What about, okay, let's take Shanahan. Same thing, though. But he's got his weapons all coming back. What if they have a healthy year this year and they still don't go anywhere? Would you then say that he should be on a short leash too? I don't think so. I wouldn't imagine so. But I scratch my head over Matt LaFleur being added to that list. A little disconcerting. And again, if you're going to be out watching the game, there's plenty of great places in the area. So I hope to see you downtown. Maybe it's Stenny's coming up a little bit later on tonight. Hey, a reminder, one of our terrific on-site sponsors, the Water Doctors, they H2, the letter O, doctors.com. They have an event going on their webpage where they're trying to raise money for service dogs. And it costs about $25,000 to help fund the training for these service dogs per dog. And we're trying to fit about 160 people with dogs. It's one dog at a time. So if there's anything you can do to donate, just go to H2, the letter O, doctors.com. I mean, they're the home of the Connecticut water softening system, which is absolutely fantastic. And if you're looking for that, good for you. Whether it's Waukesha, Racine, Kenosha, Milwaukee, Ozaukee County, anywhere in between, Washington, they can help you out. But anywhere throughout the state, you can make a donation within the sound of my voice to the Canine Society for training some of these service dogs. And it's an incredibly worthy cause. And they're just wonderful, wonderful people. So if you get an opportunity, go to H2, the letter O, doctors.com. That's H2, the letter O, doctors.com. Time for us to go. So today, you got Brewers baseball. Tonight, you got Bucks basketball. We're going to be back at it again on Monday at the golf course. We got a lot going on. So until you and I talk again, go Brewers, go Bucks.